Welcome in, everyone, to episode 92 of the Battlecast podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Speedy is Chief 2, and also my co-caster, 2OButters. Dude, I don't know if you know this, Butters, but the fans of the podcast want you on more than anyone else's guests. They're like, yo, when's Butters getting on this podcast? Because every time we roast Ampharos, they're like, no, we got to get Butters' response, right?
That's high praise. That's high praise. I'm happy to be here.
Here you are. 2OButters in the flesh. I mean, yeah. I mean, we could talk about Ampharos later, but we got lots to discuss here too. But you recently, right before Speedy got here, you recently just got back from Mexico, right?
I did. I literally took a weekend trip. I left on Friday and then came back on Monday. So it was cool. It was actually awesome weather. I checked my app 50 times trying to get a Hawlucha. I was constantly opening the app trying to see if there was one there during transportation. I was trying to see if I could find a Hawlucha. I got zero. I got zero Hawluchas. I was so ready to get a top 10 ranked Hawlucha and bring it into Go Battle League, and I got nothing.
Dude, you look like you've been outside grinding it too. Doesn't he look tanner, Speedy?
Dude, I think I am tan.
Which to be fair is not a super high bar to set for Butters, but I can see
it. He looking tan.
Dude, it is because usually I just get red. I just look like pink and I look disgusting. But the fact that I got I don't know, the Mexican sun, Mexico didn't give me a Hawlucha, but it gave me something. That's for sure.
Yeah,
there you go.
Into a Hawlucha right there. But,
yeah.
Exactly. We're only there for a weekend. That's kind of wild too.
Yeah. Just a little quick trip. Yep.
Quick trip.
It's actually really a short. We went to Puerto Vallarta. I actually asked Speedy for some recommendations. I'm sure Mariana had a lot to do, or Morita had a lot to do with the pick. But it's a short flight. It's even shorter for you, Caleb. It's a 3.5 hour flight from SFO.
I've actually never been to Mexico before. So
me neither. Until right then, it was awesome.
Clearly, I need to plan a longer trip than you, because if I want to get a Hawlucha, dude. This is the most troll post, right? So I'm talking to Speedy yesterday. So for those as a heads up, we're recording this on March 21st, right? Yeah. We're recording this ahead time. So anything that happens afterward, if Pokemon Go goes to crap for some reason in a week, we don't know yet.
Impossible.
It's possible. It's possible.
It's a forever game, Caleb.
Or maybe they're giving us all free remote raid passes every day. That's also possible. Unlikely, but it's possible. Hey. We always say this, Butters. It's an inside thing, but we say if there's any Niantic employees out there listening to this podcast, you know what to do, right? Because we always suspect there might be something. Remember Vancouver? There was all those elite raids, right, at the regional. I was saying on the podcast that week, I was like, "Yo, if anyone at Niantic loves us and listening to this, set up some elite raids for us at this regional." And employee of the year, whoever's listening to this podcast,
I'm telling you, they're undercover, undercover boss, right? They can't ever say they're listening, but they're listening.
Exactly. So any ideas, any great ideas you have, Butters, say on this podcast, because maybe we always tell them, if you're listening to this podcast, Niantic employee, pawn it off as your own idea. You get a raise, you get all this praise, and everyone wins, right? We get what we want, you get the praise for it, and it's a win-win situation. So
all right, Butters, let's hear those $1 million ideas.
Yeah. I got a list.
Don't worry.
No, I actually saw it in the Pokeminers. One of the things that I feel would be so easily implemented and would change the dynamic of Pokemon Go PvP, also raids and stuff too, is held items. How they have in the main series games. If each Pokemon could have a different held item with a certain effect, then you could start building your team with some team synergy in mind, and there would be some mystery to which way you put your items on which Pokemon. And I swear I saw some Pokeminer thing with held items coming in the future, but that's a big thing for me that I feel it's something that it's a mechanic that is very possible, but also would change the depth of strategy a ton.
Yeah, because we could be as an example, nothing more boring than Bastion Mirror. But if I got an Assault Vest Bastion and you got a Floatstone Bastion, that might change how that matchup plays out, and you wouldn't know until you enter that battle, right? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. And some berries that after taking a certain amount of damage. I forget what they're called now. I've been working on my Scarlet Violet a little bit, but I don't have my berries. I don't have my berries memorized yet. But those ones that if you get under 30% health and they pop a P bonus. Like you could design your team. Like if you decide your safe swap will definitely have that berry to increase. Like you can position your tool for alignment. You could put it in the lead and just stay in all your lead matchups. Be like, I got this berry Pokemon in the lead. I'm gonna win switch advantage, or put it on your switch advantage Pokemon. I got a ton of held items ideas, Caleb.
Yeah, well, dude,
first idea out of his 100 on his list.
Well, dude, if you think about it, right? Let's think about a situation where you have like a fire type, right? Let's say you have a Charizard and you're going up against, I don't know, some, like a, just for example's sake, because it has the higher attack, like a Rampardos. And the Rampardos throws the Rock Slide, but you have Focus Sash on your Charizard, so you survive with 1 HP no matter what. So you always get to your Blast Burn no matter what at the very end. And we're like, oh my god, the Focus Sash coming in clutch. And the thing is,
you don't know they have the Focus Sash.
Exactly. And they've been doing this for years and years and years with VG, right? Like we hear about it all the time with our colleagues at Cast. They're like, oh my god, he survived with 1 HP and here comes the move, you know?
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is possible.
No, I have an idea for Focus Sash. I think Focus Sash should also, you survive and you gain 25 energy. So like at the same time that you survive,
that
you
sounds
also
broken.
gain 25. No, because it's 25. It's not like you're gonna be hyper beaming after a Focus
but what
Sash.
if he overfarmed? He's almost at 2 blasters. Now he gets back-to-back blasters, gets that one off, and then CMP's on the next one, dude. Back-to-back blasters with 1 HP left. That's pretty wild too.
I know, but I mean, I guess you could, because if you do it at 1 HP and then you Focus Sash and then you do it again. But see, it adds more depth to the strategy.
It does.
I love it. I mean, I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that. Yeah, that'd be good. Yo, but anyway, speaking of the troll post, right? Yesterday we're recording, and Speedy's like, I'm in Mexico and I only found 2 Hawluchas, and everyone's hitting me up for Hawlucha, right?
Everyone.
And I was like, yeah, that's kind of rough, right? But then I found out our co-caster for VGC, Joe Brown, alerted me in our caster Discord. He's like, yo, Speedy trolling right now. Speedy's Twitter tweet 2 days ago says, got my first Hawlucha. I'm having a wonderful time in Mexico City with my beautiful Morita Pokemon. I'll catch a ton of Hawlucha to trade at future regionals. And he's complaining about all these people hitting him up. You're advertising people. You're gonna catch a ton, right?
Okay, Caleb. I know this is
regionals.
I know this is new information, right? I never overpromise, but this time I feel like I might have overpromised just a little bit.
You better get out grinding, man.
I know.
Look, I think Caleb will call people out for anything.
Man,
but in this situation, I have to agree. If you go out there like advertising that you're gonna catch a whole bunch of Hawlucha for everyone is immediately just gonna hit you up and be like, "Hey, can I reserve one of those Hawluchas?" And so now, instead of a relaxing trip, now you're just gonna be grinding Hawluchas for 8 hours a day, dude.
Okay. So on my daily
at the next regional,
on my daily instance, I got 1 yesterday. All right, so 1 daily instance per day, 1 Hawlucha per day. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I actually something completely saved you, Speedy. I completely realized, if they don't have a Hawlucha, it's a special trade. So you can only trade up to like 4 at a regional. So you can always use that as your excuse, like, oh, sorry, I already spent my special trade today, you know.
But also, Caleb, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because I'm getting hit for 20,000 dust every time.
You posted it on Twitter. You posted it on Twitter.
Yeah, you think when I'm grinding Hawlucha, I'm gonna? I mean, I better get some like well, just get like a Registeel or something in return, right? Because it's going to cost them 20K anyway.
So I can re-roll a bunch of legendaries. So when I get my rank 1 Registeel, I'm gonna be laughing at you guys. We'll see.
Dude, I don't think you'll have like 1 chance. You only got 2 Hawlucha right now. What rank 1 Registeel?
I got time. I got time.
Secretly, I have like 50 Hawlucha, but I'm not saying anything, and I'm saying I got 0.
Yeah, you got 1 in Vancouver.
I did. I have 1. I have 1.
Butters be greedy, man. He spent a special trade in Vancouver to get a Hawlucha, knowing he's going to be in Mexico. Although he didn't actually get 1 in Mexico, so I guess it was well thought out.
And I didn't even know I was going to be in Mexico at that point.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah. So
I did it. Yeah.
So one piece of advice, Butters, like just to be 100% candid, with my Hawlucha hunting, you just need to get good.
You need a spoof.
You need to get good.
Get good. Okay. Fair. I didn't get good enough. I don't know. I swear I was like, I even had a dream about how I was going to get like a really high ranked Hawlucha, and then that they added Sky Attack back into the move pool. And then I was
Wing
just
Attack?
I think it could be okay without Wing Attack. It's way better with Wing Attack, but it's okay with Poison Jab. But if they added Sky Attack to it, I think it beats Medi in the ones, even with Poison Jab. So it has a lot of promise.
That's pretty good. I mean, Poison Jab probably helps your Azu matchup too quite a bit. And maybe even Lantern?
And your Lonely Ninetales matchup.
True.
Also true. Also true.
Well, those powder snows add up too, but
because you are flying,
Yeah.
Super effective.
Oh man, it would have been such a good PvP Pokemon. I hope they buff it in the future, but I don't know. But
I hope so.
Anyway, we didn't even introduce Butters, so 2OButters, for those that don't know who you are, I feel like everyone listening to our podcast probably knows, or at least knows about you. I feel like everyone listening to our podcast probably has seen at least some type of broadcast you've been on. But for those that don't, tell us about yourself, Steven Sanders, aka 2OButters, aka you should say your original in-game name, because this shocked me when you're telling me about this in Australia. You were never.
You mean my first one before I changed it?
Yeah.
Yeah, my OG one when I created my account. Okay, well, yeah. First of all, my name is Steven Sanders, or 2OButters. Right now,
long distant relative of Colonel Sanders.
True. Fact. That's actually a fact. His name is Harnell. His name is Harnell, and he is like in my family tree, but I don't have any KFC money, so if I did, I would have probably got some Hawluchas when I was in Mexico. But no. I don't know. I love basketball. First off, I feel like I never talk about that anywhere, so I feel like this would be a good place to say that. Like, I started off like I loved basketball growing up, and like I was super competitive in basketball, and I also played video games like a ton. Like I was like closeted video game like addict. I played a ton growing up, and I played a ton my whole life, and I still obviously play video games, but I always had a competitive fire for basketball. And then come like 2016, I've always played games casually. Then Pokemon Go comes out, and I just like start playing like crazy. I think I lost like 15 pounds that summer or something from like just walking in parks. Like I remember there's this Bulbasaur park near where I lived in San Jose, and it was like 105 degrees, and I was like at that park for like 4 hours just like walking around. Yeah, it was crazy. I was just trying to get a Venusaur, man. I was grinding hard, and I played super like hardcore. And I never say this either, but I used to raid hardcore too. I did like
the secret comes out.
I did 3-man like Kyogre challenges. I did 3-man Groudon challenges, and I did like one of the first ever, I think. I don't know. We would have to like go back to confirm this. Duo Rayquaza, when Rayquaza first came out.
Check out YouTube, because that's the only way to confirm it.
Yeah, so I have a YouTube video. Anyway, yeah. So then I was like super hardcore raiding, and then I took a little break after like the beginning of raiding because I went so hard. And then when PvP came out, just started playing a lot of PvP, and I always wanted to try to find like creative solutions to like the meta problems. So ever since the beginning, I remember like my most memorable grassroots win was, I think I told Caleb this, I was using a water gun Slowbro in a certain meta, and I played in a San Francisco Sylph tournament, and I ended up winning that tournament with the water gun Slowbro. And the like opposing team I was facing was like one of the top trainers in the San Francisco area at the time, Young Boomy. Shout out to Young Boomy. He's kind of retired from Go, but
I heard of Young Boomy before, actually.
Yeah, Young Boomy. He was a really good trainer back then, and his team was like 6 times weak to like water gun Slowbro, and it just pew 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 pew, just annihilated him. Nice. And yeah, ever since then, I've loved Pokemon Go PvP, and then my trademark was always just playing something off meta. I'm not trying to play things off meta just to say they're off meta. I actually like when I play them, I think they're good. And I think that they can actually win games. I do mess around sometimes, but I try to play things that actually win and do well. And I try to like when I was playing hardcore, like GBL, I was actually trying to like climb and everything.
You hit number one on the leaderboard, right?
Yeah, a couple times.
Dude. That's not an easy feat.
Yeah,
it's not.
But, I think literally just a couple times. I think it was either 2 or 3. So I was being it was only like 1 or 2 times. but I had some like a bunch of
This
top
number's
10s.
getting smaller by the second.
Yeah,
You might as well
no,
put it to 2 or 3,
yeah,
like 1 or 2.
but I've had like a bunch of 2s and a bunch of like top 10s. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, I mentioned the basketball thing because like I always like was interested in like sports broadcasting, and I had like such a competitive fire for basketball that I feel like Pokemon Go PvP like ignited that fire into me that like other games didn't necessarily ignite that fire into me. And then I just started like doing some like grassroots casting. I was casting when Speedius won his grassroots, or I don't know how to say grassroots here. It's Sylph World Championships.
There it is.
Sylph World Champion, Speedius Chief with the Fortress. I was casting during that time, and I just loved casting like even more than playing. And then the Pokemon Championship Series circuit took off. Got asked to do it with you guys, and it's been like such an awesome ride this last like it's crazy. It hasn't even been 1 year. It's been
Not
like
even a
11
year.
months.
No.
Yeah, it's been 11 months. So
Dude,
it's been super exciting.
End of April.
Yeah.
Dude, it's gonna be 1 year exactly this time next month.
We should like. Well, I mean, we'll probably have you on as a guest on the podcast in the future anyway, unless you get canceled for some reason, Butters. But you know, if that doesn't
I feel
happen,
like you would be driving that ship. Like if I got canceled, it'd be like Caleb like honking the horn.
Yeah, 2 years later, I have a tweet logger like, "Here comes the truth about 2OButters."
He's Caleb is the conductor, right?
He's
like, march that direction with your torches. You know, 2OButters is over there.
I'm not the guy that throws you under the bus. I'm driving the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
hop on,
No, but anyway, if we have you on in the future, I would love for us to like reflect on this moment, right? And like this first year, because like, imagine 5 years down the road, like, man, we've been casting for 5 years. How's it been? You know, I wonder if we're going to be like jaded, or we're going to be like, yo, I'm so grateful, or like we lost like the sparkle in our eye. We're like, it's just like it's a job at this point, right? Like I just another day in like Vancouver, right? Whatever, Charlotte, but. I don't know. I think I still love it, but I do wonder because I see some of the other commentators, and I think like there's definitely like it's a different. Well, there's actually a lot of new commentators for VGC and TGC too, so that's a little different. But some have been like OGs, have been around forever, right?
Yeah.
Like
no,
Kyle Sablehouse, he's been around for a hot second, right?
I'm really glad you brought that up, Caleb, because I felt like when we first started casting as well, we were just so young and so new, and like the lights were so bright, we didn't know what we were doing, and we were just like trying our best to like fit in and be good at what they asked us to do. And then you look at some of the other casters, and they're like, oh yeah, another regional, here we are. You know, they just like roll up, and they seem I don't want to name names, right? But like some of them definitely seem like they've been doing it so long, it's kind of like a habit. I really hope that over time we can still look at it and think of it as being fresh without, kind of losing that sense of wonder, right? Because I remember EUIC with you guys, and that was an experience,
Dude, dude, our first day of commentary, I think it went on for like 10 hours or something, or 9
It was
plus
super
hours.
long.
It was so long. We like cast like every battle, and there was so much downtime too, because like they're trying to set up the phones. It was I learned what vamping was real quick on that. I don't remember if you and Zion kind of vamp a lot, Butters, but I remember me and Speedy were talking about like everything under the sun for a hot second.
Yeah, it was really tough to like constantly generate new topics, right? And again, like that first tournament was very much like a baptism by fire, right? Because they just kind of like threw us in there. They said, just do your thing, and if you mess up, we'll tell you. And of course, we're all super anxious, right? This is our first tournament ever. It's an IC. And we just flew to Europe for the first time in probably all of our lives, right?
Yeah, none of us have been there.
Never.
None of us, yeah. No. I was like, I don't even know like what to order. We were ordering like sausage and stuff, and like I remember the guy that you were ordering sausages from was like getting a little testy with you, Butters.
Dude,
I forgot what it was.
He
hated you, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You said like you didn't want everything on it, and so when it came to me, I was like, I'll take everything, right? And he's like, like put extra sauce and stuff. Like he like skipped you out on some of the fries, too. I feel like.
No, my sausages were awful, but I mean, it was I think like we were like obviously American, and not necessarily that they're like unfriendly to Americans, but sometimes when someone like doesn't know what they're ordering, and it's like literally like hot dogs, like, and I'm like, what options do you have? And like, what's that sauce? What's that sauce? And he's just getting impatient with me, like, all right, just like you order hot dogs, I slap sauce on it, you get some fries, and you leave. Like this is how it goes. And I was like,
you should know what the sauce is. Yeah.
Exactly. So for the record, right, we ordered like hot dogs and fries, at this this restaurant. It was
bratwurst, you know. It was
like a bratwurst. It was all diced up, like tossed into
That's
a tray,
like,
and then like smothered with like mayonnaise and ketchup all over it, and then like this powder on top. Oh, there was sour cream on the fries.
Like curry powder or something? Yeah.
Curry powder on top. And you had to eat it with a toothpick, right?
It was like it was like a 2-prong toothpick.
Yeah, it's what I think what like a 5-year-old child would think like fine dining was. Like, what do you think fine dining is? It's like you chop up the hot dogs real thinly, and then you just slap some sauce on it with some powder. Yeah, I think that's what exactly it was. But
oh my god,
god!
Imagine if they watched this back. They'd be like, "Man, I knew that guy was disrespectful."
right?
Yeah. No, it was a great time though. I remember, baptism by fire. It was baptism by lava at some times too. We just throw it in there, but it was a good learning experience for sure.
No, great time. I think it goes back to like we were saying, like the other casters, like they're more used to it, and like what will we be like in 5 years? I feel like it's different phases of the whole like career of doing this, right? Like they've been doing it longer, so they like it's not like us. We're like literally 11 months ago, we're just like under like they just put us on stage under these bright lights, and we're just like, it was just like deer in the headlights. We were just trying to do a good job, and like we've been like we all had experience doing it, so it's and we've like streamed and like we're very comfortable talking about Pokemon Go PvP in general, but didn't know what to expect. And then like that first season was like it joins like after the pandemic, right? Like there already was a season like for the other games before the pandemic. We joined on the tail end of that, and then so that tail end up until the World Championships was just like a whirlwind of like events and like not knowing what to expect. It's the first World Championships we've ever been to, and then now we're like more settled into our second season. And I know we might talk about it more later if you want to reflect, but I still love it. Like it's amazing. It's different phase because you're not like as shocked about like what you're doing as you were before. Before you were literally just like shocked you're doing this, and then now you're kind of like in a stage where that's not new to you, and then so you have to move on to this different phase of like I don't know, just trying to keep the excitement that you're getting from the shock, and then like but channel it differently because it's still like such an honor and like such an awesome thing to be doing, you know what I mean?
Like there's still nerves, right? Like we still get a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, and sometimes things do happen. For example, at one of the regionals we had some sound issues and my headset like cut out in the middle of a cast, right? And you just have to take those curveballs as you go and just make it feel like it's not happening. Make people listening just have no clue that anything is going on behind the scenes, right? Just deliver a really good show.
So like, Butters will just like go with the flow. I remember at OCIC, he was interviewing CCO without a mic. He was like, "Let's just go, like let's just make this work."
Yeah.
Right? Luckily, the cameras aren't on, but I'm just like, how would they even pick up the sound when there's no mics?
Butters is known for destroying equipment too, right? He's like pulled the buttons off of things.
The cough button, yeah. We talked about that at a previous podcast at LAIC, dude. I was saying how I almost lost it when I saw you do it because we're commentating and you had to like burp or cough. And you press the mute button and you take it off, it just like flings past like past my ear. And you're like scrambling to find it. I'm like commentating a match. I'm like trying to keep it together because I'm just like trying not to laugh. And you're like trying to scramble and get it, and then like still commentate the match. Like it was hilarious.
I feel like Caleb must like sometimes like in like last cast I just decided like I'm gonna stand up, and so I just decided to stand up. I started standing up. That's the guy I know. Caleb was like is he okay? Like is he like what's going on?
The discrepancy is already pretty big, but then I was just like, are you falling asleep? Like what's going on? Right? Like you good? Like I thought like maybe his leg was falling asleep. Like he had to go to the bathroom. Like I hope you don't have to go to the bathroom, right? Because like you gotta go. But like
wait, let me ask you guys: have you guys ever had to go to the bathroom while you're casting? Like ever felt like you really had to go?
But like I could just hold that in, I think.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, okay. I usually try to plan ahead, right? Like when you know the rotation is coming, you just have to ask your co-caster to take over admin and then just kind of do your thing, right? I wanted to say this as well. I feel like, and this isn't even like trying to gas us up as casters, but I do want to say that I feel like us getting added to the competitive circuit has kind of re-energized some of our colleagues as well. Because like, I feel like we've got so much energy. People tell me all the time, like, Go is so exciting. From TCG, from VG, they say Go is so fast paced. There's always so many things going on, and a lot of people in the beginning maybe didn't understand the game. They thought it was kind of silly. It's much like tapping on a mobile phone. But I sincerely feel that like over the past months, we've kind of won them over. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, oh, I don't know if this is on us. It might be on us too, but there's way more VGC and TCG casters trying to play Go and like
Yes,
competitive Go and like participate in these tournaments than any of us participating in VGC or like none of us have done that, right? Like we have some
accurate.
players like Enhoff do it, but like none of the commentators for Go have been like, yeah, let me go play some VGC next month, right? Like
Hmm.
we're like, I mean, VGC I would say is a much more complicated game, so it's like going from like the kiddie pool to like the depths of the ocean, right?
It's
Like I don't
much
even know how to
deeper.
get out that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much deeper, and TCG as well too. So I think that might be part of it. But like Joe Brown competed in Baltimore, right? You got Frosted Caribou. She's going to be competing in Fort Wayne. Who I'm missing? I feel like some other people too, but a lot of them too. I know they're like collecting PvP Pokemon, right? You got like
Hmm.
Sierra and like Nectar.
Chip is playing. I always see Chip
Chip be
playing. Yeah,
grinded.
Thank
yeah.
Yeah,
you,
Chip
chef.
is grinded.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Joe Brown, he submitted some GBL battles for me to commentate in a YouTube video too. He was making all these, he was catching zap cannons. I was like, what the heck?
Dude,
So
Joe
this guy
Brown is
got the
OP.
force or what? Yeah, he was
I wish I
catching
was Joe
everything.
Brown.
Yeah, Joe Brown's a great guy. But yeah, so
No,
maybe
yeah,
that's partially
because
on us too that we're not getting into the other games as much. But I'm glad that they're like liking Go, right?
no, because I feel like we were like the new kids, right? And you see sometimes there's that public perception from the other game bases, like TCG, call it like a tap 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 game. You know what I mean? But like
Hmm.
if you're referring to like just the casters and or the analysts that are at these tournaments, they're obviously getting like a much closer look at Pokemon Go PvP. Like they're actually around like to see like the depth of strategy, like how like fun it can be, and that it's like not just tap tap tap. So I feel like they kind of see that excitement sometimes and maybe like, oh, okay, like that is interesting. Like, let me give it a shot. Let me play. Let me try to grind it out. And it's just a fun game to play too. Like when you're like walking
Yeah.
around new cities, like it's not like
Oh
we can
yeah.
like walk around a new city in like, I mean, they always bring
Wish
their
you
cube and
could.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always bring their cube and play like TCG and stuff, but
Yeah,
it's not based on the city. They're just at the
exactly.
city. So it's like it's a little bit new. And I think you're right, Speedy, because I think we re-energized them because I know this season when it was just us and TCG, and then when VGC was added to this season, it re-energized us too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
We all
all
feed
we
off each
all
other.
got the game, right?
Yeah,
Like when was the last time you played a main series game? Because mine was Silver on the
yeah,
Game Boy Color.
yeah. Me
Y-
too. Like,
Yeah, you as
I
well.
mean,
Yeah.
it had to be one of the games like within like 4
Over 10
years of Red and Blue coming out. Like I would say,
Yeah.
like within 4 years of Red and Blue coming out was like my last main series game that I
Yeah.
Yeah.
played.
Mine was Crystal. That's the last one I
Yeah.
played.
That's also same gen too, right? It was like the
Yeah.
yellow version of that gen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we literally all got back into it, which is kind of cool. I mean, and I never battled Butters in Scarlet Violet. I don't know. It seems like he's grinding more than me and Speedy are these days. So I haven't been doing like the raids or anything. Like I know they got like what was that? The new Virizion and
Mm.
Decidueye, but
I
I haven't
spent
been into
like
it.
at least like a week. I was like time here or there during a week, just like on that. I don't know if it's called PokeCalcs. I know Joe Brown was my
Hmm.
coach. Joe Brown's a great
Oh
coach.
yeah.
Shout out to Joe Brown. I was asking him all these like stupid questions about because the thing that interests me the most about VGC is like the nuanced things you can do with like your spreads because you can like really target certain matchups and have like different strategies like based on the IV and EV spreads that you choose. So like I was like I never actually grinded out the actual Pokemon, but I spent
Hmm.
time in the lab just trying to like similar how like PV Poke works, right? Just trying to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some things out. I would say though, if anyone made a website like PV Poke for VGC, I think it would be like insanely popular. There is no simulation website for VGC, by the way. There's a calc website, and you can like plug in certain calcs and press like, I'm gonna do this damage versus this opponent in this calc versus that calc with this moveset versus this moveset, and it will give a range. Maybe because there's so many factors, because like in VGC, there's ranges for attacks, right? Like you can do between this range and that range, but it's all individual matchup based. You have to do every single calculation individually. If there was ever like group simulations to like target like the main meta of like 40 Pokemon, like what would this spread do against the main meta with this moveset, and it would give you the whole list of outcomes. I feel like PV Poke should just do it. He's already doing the terrestrial like raid stuff, so maybe he is going to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the closest thing is Pokemon Showdown, right? Have you
yeah,
guys
but
ever heard of that?
Yeah, but that's like
play it, right? You have to play.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Simulate it, right? Yeah.
You actually have to play out a battle versus another person that's queuing up in Showdown, and you have to hope they bring a team that like you want to see, and hope they play it the way that you want to play it. You know,
fair.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's like hard to do a sim website like that because there's so many variables in RNG.
True.
Crit, all that stuff. Like, misses. Like, there's so many more variables.
Dude, I will say, after trying to like get a good IV Shroomish for Amoonguss, and I didn't really get one. I was like, dude, IV hunting is so much easier in Pokemon Go. Like, you don't have to get like a rank 1, but like I feel like your odds of getting rank 1 is faster than me getting this like perfect Amoonguss with like low speed and low attack, right? But it's it was tough. It was I never found it. But that's a whole different thing. But grinding stuff to like 100, like, you know, max out, because you could train your Pokemon's like IVs, whoever, to like improve them or whatever. Like, it's much easier to do that, especially when you use the rare candies. Like, you power stuff up to level 100 like pretty quickly, I think. These days with the raids,
I would say like I think the cost like for Pokemon Go PvP in like terms of like Stardust and like gathering that is like really hard to do if you're a new trainer. Like, it's a real uphill like journey to try to get like the resources. But in terms of like the actual Pokemon that you need to use, unless it's like unavailable because you can't find it in the wild, or it's like a Registeel you can't find it in a raid. But like I totally agree with you. Like, you can actually go out and like just catch like 50 in one day, and you probably got one that's good enough to use, except for if you go to Mexico for Hawlucha and you just get
well, if you caught 50 Hawlucha, you'd be fine. You just caught 0, so that's a different story.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah. Wait, you gotta take us back here, Butters. What was your original in-game name? Because it was not 2OButters.
It was either, I don't know if it was, pretty positive it was 3OButters, because I was even 3OButters in my early Sylph days, and like when you actually could 3-0 someone, because you would play like all 3 of the games, you could 3-0, but that wasn't the reason I got it. It was a happy accident, because
it should have been 03 Butters.
Yeah.
03 Butters. What?
Whoa, dude.
Whoa.
You
tried to slide that in there.
Yeah, dude. Check the record. You got to go like 5 years back, but it's just because I love Steph Curry, and it was like 2016, probably right after they lost. They were 73 win team, and then they lost in Game 7. I'm sure like you guys don't love basketball as much as me, but I'm sure a lot of people are.
I remember that moment for sure.
Of being up 3-1 and then losing, and then so I'm like, I still love Steph Curry. I'm a be 3OButters, because I was just like, all right, 30 for Steph Curry. And then when I started PvPing, I'm like, you know what? Like, I really like this. Like, I'm gonna switch to 2OButters because 20 was my basketball number. So I'm like, I'll be 20
like
Butters.
LeBron James, where he had like MJ's number and he changed it to his own later.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I never thought of it like that, but you know, good comparison.
I'm not saying that's where the similarities if you have LeBron end, yeah.
Hey, I'll take it. Thanks, Caleb. High praise. But no, I just wanted my own. I just wanted to change it because it was like my own basketball like number. So I'm like, just trying to make my account like me. So, and then it was cool because I was 3OButters when you can 3-0 people, and now I'm 2OButters when you can 2-0 people. So it feels good.
Oh, quick and easy. Yeah, that's true. In these double elimination brackets, I'm like, yo, all these 2-0s, man. Like, and I always reference 2OButters when I can.
Yeah, exactly.
You said you tried to do 20 butters, but you couldn't find the 0, right? So you end up doing the O.
Dude, no, okay. I actually think I thought about it, Caleb.
Yeah,
I thought about it. And I know I tried to do 30 butters. And then and then 30 butters was taken, so I did 3OButters. And then when I switched from 3OButters to 2OButters, I think I just literally switched from 3-0 to 2-0 because I was already used to having that O there. and I like wanted that
that's my
already
call.
there. But back before, I think I tried to put the 0, and then I don't think I tried to put the 0 in on the second time.
Dude, if you were still 30 butters, I think like a gag gift for you on your birthday, I'd buy you like 30 sticks of butter.
that would not be bad. And butter lasts for a long time, so.
Yeah, I surprise you though. I'd be like, we're like vamping on stream. We're like downtime, like, yo, here's another piece of butter for you, right? Like every like 10 minutes, I'd bring out another stick, we'll just like stack it on the table.
Dude, I'd be down if you gave them like. Have you guys ever like? There's certain butters that you go to restaurants like they'll be like infused. You know what I mean? Those infused butters, dude. Just give me like 30 different flavors of infused butter,
Dude,
and I'm in. Actually,
there's this guy. I forgot his name. He's on Instagram. Dude, you watch a lot of these cooking things just like me, Butter. So you might know this guy. He does all things butter. Do you know this guy?
No, I don't know this guy, but I should.
He said, yeah, he's like episode 20 of all things butter. So he literally he has a whole butter series. He'd be like, this is sriracha mayo butters. This is bacon butter. This is like toasted onion and garlic butter. It's wild. It would be like, and so he'll be like and he's a really good chef too. Now I'm gonna send you this whole series.
Dude, yeah, send me this. I'm in.
It's a lot of butter though. I don't know. I mean, this guy like hopefully his health is good, but he's like a world renowned chef. Like he does like all this other cooking. His cooking looks phenomenal too. But he like blends all these butters. It's like orange. It's like smoky flavors. Like everything. He like got saffron in there. Like it's wild.
Dude, I was gonna say, if Butters were to get that gift, he'd have to change his name again to 2O cholesterol. That'd be too much.
Dude, no, I'd freeze it. You don't
need to go on a diet.
Yeah.
2O margarine.
I'm all in. I'm all in on that like infused butter, like all that stuff you're saying. It makes things taste so good. Like I went to this restaurant like near my house that had like free bread and butter, but like the butter was like we were mentioning, it wasn't sriracha, but it was like a spicy butter. It was like a pesto butter, and it was like some other butter. Mm-hmm. It was so good, dude. I ate like 5 baskets of like free bread, and I like didn't even want to like order food.
Oh my goodness,
that's how they get you. But they even had this guy even used a berry butter, so he's like mashed a bunch of like blueberries or like berries in it, blended. Yeah, so it's like about berries in it, and he put the butter on pancakes. Dude, it was like it looked so good. Yeah, it was great.
So
I'll send you the whole series.
Here's the question: When is the 2OButters cooking show debuting? That's what I want to know.
Dude, me and Caleb are just gonna do like a segment, like instead of like an interview, we're just be like, all right, then come back. We're gonna be in the kitchen making.
You really should. Yeah, I need to see what you're making. No, I gotta show you guys. But I made here. You know what? I'll put it on camera here, and then I'll send it to you all. But I made it was a TikTok recipe. And it was reverse seared steak. So you like put it in the oven. I've never done it before, so I was like really confused. I was like, dude, is this going to be cooked? Because I wasn't really sure, and I didn't have a thermometer to test it. But they and then you use I made my own chimichurri sauce. So it's reverse seared steak with chimichurri. Mm-hmm. My mistake is I didn't realize you have to cut the chimichurri really fine. So here, I don't know if you all can see this. Can you all see this?
Oh, that looks good. That looks good.
That looks fantastic.
So that's a steak with quinoa and spinach, and then I threw on some chimichurri afterward on top.
Beautifully cooked.
Dude, nice. Not bad, right? Not bad.
Beautifully
cooked.
Anyway,
so the chimichurri, my mistake is I didn't chop it finely enough. But I also got like a one of those manual food processor. You just put it in, you like pull on the string and like blends it. So next
that's
time,
it.
That chimichurri.
You can make some butter with that.
You could really?
Yeah.
I've seen videos of people making butter. It's like kind of weird, but like they like soak it in water, right? It's like
they gotta get it like soft, so they infuse stuff in it. I think.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I gotta send you that butter series. So hey, if you two are in LA, I'll make you this reverse seared steak, right?
Dude, bruh. I mean, because I watch a bunch of cooking shows like you, but I do. I think you actually watch cooking videos. I will watch like Gordon Ramsay, like top level chef or something. So I'll see people cooking, but like really, I'm just like seeing from like the judge's point of view. So now, like when I go out and eat, or if I eat your stuff, I'll be like, the steak's beautifully cooked. Chimichurri has a perfect complementing taste, a decadent cream on top, but a little bit too much of this fresh herb on top. Chimichurri is not cut finely enough. It just overpowers the dish. and he just, at the end, he's just always like shame, and then it just like moves on to the next one. So like, I don't actually cook like that. I was during COVID, I actually tried to like cook a bunch of things, but recently I haven't been trying to cook anything fancy. But definitely when I go out, I'll be like thinking these things in my head, like beautifully cooked cake, decadent, velvety, but just overpowered by this chocolate taste. Shame.
Dude, you gotta go from Pokemon Go commentary to like cooking show commentary, man. You're like building all the expertise.
I'm allergic to shellfish, so I can't do it because every single fine dining place like is like all shellfish. Shellfish has like shrimp, crabs. Yeah,
that's tough. That is tough.
Yeah. Unless I just bring my EpiPen with me on set.
Well, but you could do fish, right? Because I'm a little concerned because I'm expecting we're going to be in Japan this summer hopefully, and we gotta try the sushi in Japan, right? But there's gonna be a lot of shellfish. I know Butters, you haven't been working on your Japanese. You need to learn how to say no shellfish, right? Allergic.
Yes.
Right? You need to know how to say that in Japanese at least. I started my Duolingo yesterday, by the way. Yeah.
Wait, let's ask Speedy because Caleb was like going off on me how like I haven't been like learning Japanese. First of all, like fingers crossed, really hope that I'll be at the World Championships. But second of all, like I don't know, Speedy, let me ask you: have you been working on your Japanese?
Okay, so there are some casters that are really good influences, right? Like Alpha Phoebe, Frosted Caribou, and Caleb. They're all doing their own
Duolingo. Don't even. I'm not much of
all right, no credit to Caleb. It's just the other two.
Me. I know what to do. I just haven't been doing it.
Okay, what Caleb and everybody else needs to understand is that Butters is working on learning Portuguese and just trying to maintain his English. I'm working on Spanish and maintaining my own English. And now you want to throw like some Japanese in there as well? It's super tough.
Learn something. When we're in Japan, I don't want you all to turn to me like, Caleb, what does it say? I'm like, dude, I'm on like day 20 of Duolingo. I don't know either.
That's what we did to Butters the entire time in Sao Paulo.
Well, I mean, of course, but he's been. But see how useful it was, right? Yeah, you got scammed buying that seeded Guela at that food market. But imagine how.
But at least I knew I got scammed.
Yeah, you'd be scammed even harder if you didn't know any Portuguese.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah,
yeah, but my point is, like, I can learn how to say all the basic things, and that would be just fine. I feel like between now and then,
you don't know any
how am I going to have a conversation with someone? Like, it's either there's two layers. Like, it's either you learn the basic things, which, like, when you get there, you could be asked, like, hey, how do I say this? And then you could say it. Or you actually learn how to talk a little bit. And I'm saying, like, between now and Japan, there's no way I'm going to learn how to talk a little bit. So, like, why practice at all?
It's not even April yet. Japan's in middle of August. We're 5 months away.
So are you saying
you can learn a lot in 5 months?
Okay, yeah, you could, but I'm with Speedy. I'm learning Portuguese also, so it's it's too tough to learn two languages at a time.
You three languages,
Portuguese.
Yeah,
Speedy covers Spanish. I'll cover the Japanese.
You got Japanese, and that's the deal.
I got Japanese. So I tried to sell to Butters. I was like, oh, you've been watching like My Hero Academia, some anime, Butters, right? Like this would be good. You don't even need the subtitles. He's like, dude. Get this, anyone listening, right? You gotta get this. Butters sometimes watches anime on mute. Like he's just reading.
What?
It's like he's just reading like a manga, like a comic book. He's not even like
Wait, but why?
Well, it's probably because
because two reasons. Like I was saying when I watch it. First of all, for My Hero Academia, Caleb did recommend that one, and I love that show. That show is so good.
Great. Yeah, I'm about to cry like every episode. I almost cried for this week's episode. Did you?
Yeah,
I can't even imagine Caleb crying. Like that visual just doesn't seem possible.
Yeah. It's only reserved for exclusive audience.
Yeah,
it's myself and my cats.
My Hero Academia. Yeah. But it's so good. But first of all, I do like the dub, or what do you call it when it's like within English?
The dub. What you mean? Like the vocals are in English, right?
Yeah.
That's the dub. Yeah. The subtitle is a sub, right?
The dub for that show is really good. Like the guy who plays All Might, I'm pretty positive is the guy who plays Vegeta in like Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
And he is like really good. And I just like that version. But I'm watching the new season. And the new season doesn't have dub yet because it's like only out in Japanese. And the reason I'm watching it on mute is because I'm waiting for it to like come out on like Friday at midnight. And like I'm like going to sleep like midnight. and me and my wife are going to sleep, and I'm like trying to not make noise. So I have it on my phone, but I don't have any volume, and I'm just reading. It's perfect because you can read the subtitles that I have to read anyway. I have to read these subtitles anyway, so I don't need the volume. I can just read the subtitles, and then I don't wake up my wife. And also, I'm like slightly embarrassed sometimes to watch anime. So like,
don't be that. We're commentating Pokemon for a living. We can't be embarrassed about this. Like,
I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed to talk to you all about it. I'm happy to. I'm just like, my wife sometimes like looks over at me watching like Deku just like crying like two rivers of like water.
Butters, I'm gonna change your life. Right? There's a new invention. It came out earlier this year. It's called headphones.
Yeah, but like
you can use those.
What a year, man.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I just first of all, my iPhone headphones, only one of the sides work now, and like I just also when you want to sleep, you gotta take your headphones off. You gotta unplug them. You gotta put them over there. I want to just want to be like reading my anime. And then like close my phone and go to sleep.
Dude, he's like ready for that boomer life already, man.
I know, right?
It's like I'm just used to reading and stuff. You know, these headphones don't even work that well. Like it's fine, just watch my video. Hey, actually, wait. Has she tried watching My Hero Academia? Because I think it's like it's a show that a lot of people enjoy. Like someone I used to date, she said she like does not like anime. She started watching it, and she's like bawling her eyes out like every single episode and like watching all of them.
I think out of like animes in general, I think she would like that one, but she also I think she doesn't love like that everything is like superheroes because like every movie is like Marvel superheroes, and I love
it's true.
Like, I love Marvel and I love superhero movies and action movies,
love
but
hero.
Yeah, exactly. So so I feel like she's already kind of like she wants to watch like a murder mystery, like that's also a comedy, or like I don't know, something like that. And so I feel like she would watch those shows over that like My Hero Academia. But she's missing out because My Hero I actually just watched both of them. I didn't know there were movies too. I never knew this whole time there were movies, and I was on the plane watching the movies.
Dude.
Nice.
And he can listen to his volume on the plane because he's not ashamed.
Yeah, in one ear. In 1 year though.
1 year, dude. You gotta get yourself some headphones, man.
I need to buy some, but I'm like saying to myself, I was like looking because if you like from one side of your head you get information, like if it's either visual or audio, like it does something different to your brain. And so if like you only listen to like a headphone out of one ear or the other, I was like, oh, I bet like this is gonna be like helpful to me if I listen to audio for like 1 year. And so I was like looking up all the benefits of like hearing audio out of just one ear, and every single article like was just basically like said it didn't matter. And then like one article one article that's like probably I don't know, some random person wrote it, said that like it helps you with something, and I was like, oh, it helps me with something. I won't buy new headphones yet.
Dude, this man's trying to really justify that one headphone thing. But let me find the scientific evidence where one headphone's better.
Yeah,
like,
I know the same money. Yeah,
yeah. We're talking to a grandpa here.
I should get new headphones.
If we were like neighbors or like we lived with each other, you know what we should do? We should like start like those reaction YouTube channels. They're like a group of friends that literally just watch TV together and react to it. And
elders react.
Well, not even just elders. They could be just like random guys, right? Whatever. Yeah. And those videos rack up millions of views. Like it's true. Wild. Yeah. And literally the editing takes some time, but literally all they do for content is sit down and watch an anime or TV show that they would have watched anyway. They were like, oh, let's watch The Last of Us together, or like The Walking Dead or whatever, right? And they react. I feel like Butters would be great for that because he probably
absolutely.
Like all this commotion and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'd be down.
I'm like a psychopath. I like have like no reaction.
I was gonna say Caleb is either like completely stoic or just softly sobbing.
It's both. It's both. Yeah.
It's both.
But yeah, it's very soft. It's very quiet though. Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine. Butters is popping off, and I'm just like silent.
Yeah.
Dude, I have this terrible habit. Like whenever I watch a movie, there's certain parts where everybody laughs, right? Like it's intended to be comedic, but sometimes characters will deliver very subtle lines that are actually really clever, and I'm like the only person in the theater that laughs at those jokes.
No, I don't know what it is. Though. I think that's fine. No, for me, it's when there's like they're trying to deliver something funny and everyone laughs. sometimes it ruins it for me because like if
True.
I didn't find it super funny and other people are laughing harder at it, then I'm like, this is even less funny because
It's like a laugh track.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're laughing so hard at something not funny makes it less funny for me, right? I don't know what it is.
There's like a social aspect when you're at the theater, because like even if like you're sitting next to someone and they're not laughing, you'll like laugh less, right? Because like you're like, oh, they're not laughing, so I won't laugh as much. And then
I'm like
have
the
you ever
other
been
way
to like a theater
sometimes.
that's going insane? Dude, there's
Yeah.
like I don't know. Do you remember that one movie? It was like with like Ice Cube, and it was like some comedian was like dating his daughter or something like that.
Jump Street,
Jump
right?
Street. Yeah, Jonah
21
Hill.
Jump Street. 21 Jump Street was hilarious.
Yeah, but it was this like the sequel to like 22 Jump Street or something.
Oh, dude, yeah. And they remember the end credit scene? They had like 26 Jump Street. Like they kept going on and on.
Yeah. I don't know why, like this is like not even like top 10 funniest movies I've ever seen. It's a funny movie, but it's not like on a top 10 list. But for whatever reason, the theater I was at was like dying on every single line. Like it was the craziest movie experience I've ever had in my life. Like people were hysterically laughing the entire movie. It was actually so much fun.
What was in the air? They feed everyone like edibles and like the
I don't know, dude.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, because it was funny, but it wasn't like the funniest movie I've ever seen in my life. But
the butter in that popcorn was definitely infused with something. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I used to watch like comedy specials on Comedy Central, and I was like, I think I asked my mom one time. I was like, "Why are these people all laughing at these jokes? This comedian is mid at best, right?" And they're just like dying there. And she said, "Well, when you go to a comedy show, you have lots of drinks."
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yo, there's like I've been watching a lot of like shorts because I think it's like people making TikToks and Instagram reels on it of like a lot of comedians. I feel like a lot of people like artists or entertainment people like they're super clever by promoting on TikTok. They'll put like snippets of them like performing like a new song or like their comedy show, and I feel like it's really helping their discovery. But there's so many hecklers at comedy clubs. I didn't realize that. And all these comedians are just sitting there like roasting the crap out of them back too. Sometimes, like it's really like they had this one woman was getting kicked out and stuff. And he was like making her cry and stuff, but like she was being super rude, right? And everyone's just like laughing at her. And I was just like, dude, that's like the dream job.
Yeah, that's Caleb's like dream.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just not funny enough to do the rest of the routine. But if someone's heckling me, I will roast them. You know?
Yeah.
True.
Wake Caleb up. He's just like not even. You don't even care about like the comedy part. He's just
waiting
for someone to like.
He's like, oh yeah.
I'll be like, I don't really have anything. Just someone yell something at me. Someone insult me. So,
yeah.
We had our first hate comment last week too on our podcast.
We did.
And
we
definitely roasted this guy too.
It was about you, Butters. No, I'm just kidding.
It can't be. I haven't been on yet.
This guy saw the future, man.
What did it say? What did it say?
He just said, imagine. Like he's like imagine, or he said, why do you guys spend so much time on an effort on a podcast that has like no viewers or listeners, right? And I was like, well, if you look at our YouTube audience, it's kind of true because we only get like 100 something to 200 views, but on our actual podcast platform, we get like upwards of 1,000 plus to like 2,000 sometimes too per episode.
Which in the Pokemon Go space is actually very competitive.
Yeah, for podcast purposes, I think so. Yeah, well, just in general for views too. Hey, this might be a special, right? We might get even more views out of this 2OButters exclusive.
It's true.
That's that's like you said you wanted like someone to roast. That's like the perfect thing in like a certain amount of time when like you've grown like certain amount, and then you could just retweet that tweet, and then you could just roast that person. So that's exactly what you needed. So. Yeah, that's I don't know. People just want to hate about anything. And that's why I feel like when it's at a stand-up comedy thing, it's also like so like it's so funny because it's also like the situation's so unfair because it's like a comedian that's like the funniest person in the room. They have the entire like they have everyone in the audience like attention, and they have a microphone, and it's like versus someone who's like drunkenly like just stumbling in and like says like you know what I mean? Like it's just like I feel like comedians just love that situation because like it probably pisses them off that like someone yelled during their set, but at least they just get to like unleash all this like pent up like frustration and comedy that they've been like waiting to unleash.
It's like LeBron versus like a JV team, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Destroy him.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's like a JV guy in the audience like, you suck, LeBron. He's like, 1v1 me. Let's go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if if someone on a JV team like went up and like slapped LeBron at the ESPYs, and then LeBron got to play like in his next like basketball game or something. Like, and then like LeBron, it's like the same situation. Like, did you guys see with like, I don't know if this is Battle Cats podcast material, but like with the Will Smith like, and then Chris Rock had his own special, like,
and he roasted him. I saw that clip. Yo, he really went in on Will Smith.
Dude,
and his wife.
Yeah, but
they got some interesting marital relationships. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. These entanglements are tricky.
Yeah, but I mean, it's because like this dude is like a comedic genius, had like a year to like prepare comedy to like roast you. You know what I mean? So it's like if he targeted anyone, like if he targeted like literally any person, and he like spent a year like practicing comedy to roast a single person, like it's probably gonna be like pretty bad for that person.
He sounded angry when he delivered it.
Yes,
he did. Sounded like it sounded like the day after. Like it did not sound like a year later.
Dude, thank you. I'm so glad you noticed that, because I felt like even some of his words he tripped over, which didn't seem very characteristic. That almost felt like it was organic, right? And I also want to say credit to Chris Brown, because he took a whole year to like digest.
Chris Rock.
Sorry, Chris Rock. He took a. Excuse me, Chris Rock. He took a whole year to like think about, digest, everything that was going on. He didn't just like snap respond the next day after that happened. I think that was also good on him to actually like, be an adult about it.
Yeah, but also like got a huge bag out of it, right? Like he got so much,
dude, of
like
course.
because he waited like to like build a special around it. He probably got so much money out of it.
And no such thing as bad publicity unless you're Will Smith in this situation too. Like everyone's seen that clip, dude.
Yeah.
If Butters wants to slap me across the face in a regional, like it might be your last commentary stuff, but I guarantee that'll be the most viewed clip on Twitch.
Oh, dude, of course.
For the Pokemon channel. Yeah, Chris Rock, not Chris Brown, not to be confused with the
that's a very different situation.
The head of operations.
I was thinking of the R&B singer. All three very different situations.
Yes.
All right.
Anyway, speaking of roasting people, man, we got to talk about this Ampharos situation. Here, Butters, let me put it this way. I thought of you yesterday, right? I was doing GBL. And I was like, you know what? We're in Ultra League. I'll do Butters a solid, right? I try to run some Ampharos. Look, let me tell you, I was running a Jellicent lead with a Galarian Weezing and a Charizard in the back. And I was running into Ampharos, like in the lead and the back and stuff, and I was still winning, right? ABA weak to Ampharos. Not Ampharos on top of a Jellicent or Charizard at least some point in time. But let me just say this. I was like, all right, I'll try Ampharos myself. And you know what? To really honor Butters, I want to use my Como in Ultra League. So I ran a Como O, a Registeel, and an Ampharos. And dude, the more I used the team, the more I hated Ampharos. I was like, this thing's so bad. I'm like losing the Jellicents. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, losing the Walray. Like, it was...
Dude, I've also been running Como-O and Ampharos, and instead of Registeel, which is probably a huge upgrade from my third Pokemon, I'm using Shadow Electrode, which I like genuinely like gained like 100 points. I just got my Elo recently. I was like 20. I got my Elo like 2300, and I actually went to 2400 with like double electric. But like
what
the thing is,
swap there though. I don't even understand. Like, what if they have a G-Fizz in the back?
I just destroyed. But I say swapped the Ampharos. I actually was running Focus Blast, but then I just never ran into G. There's literally no G-Fizz. I don't know where.
Yeah, it's mostly
that's true.
And so I just switched to Zap Cannon.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it speaks to like how bad like electric types are. Because as soon as you made an electric type with some actual bulk viable, it was insanely good, and it's insanely good. First of all, Registeel, just because it had Zap Cannon, was insane in Season 1. And now Lantern's insane. Like, it beats Medi. Like, it's so good, and it has such good coverage. Like, Electric is just really good. Just the Electric-type Pokemon, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's, like, based on the main series games and, like, because of what Electric types have for stat product in main series games, but no electric types have any bulk in Pokemon Go. Like, they just have zero bulk.
Besides like Lantern. Or you mean like pure electrics, right?
Or no, any electric.
Well,
like
in general.
Lantern has bulk, right?
No, so Lantern. That's what I'm saying. That's like
Lantern's
literally
like the exception.
Yeah, it's like literally the one, and like Pachirisu, maybe if
So
like
Maybe, yeah. That's like an
So
XL
you
situation.
guys probably already know this, but the way that the stats are translated from the main series over to Go is that because there's no speed stat in Pokemon Go, that stat gets converted into attack. That's why like so many electrics have sky high attacks and they just have zero bulk because there's no speed, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to hit first because that's never going to be an option
Right.
in Go.
Electric makes
right.
sense if they're fast, right? Because electricity is pretty
Yes.
quick too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, that's true. Well, we were talking about that in the last podcast, me and Speedy, because I don't know if you watched the Utrecht regional, but we're talking about like, yo, how do you nerf Lantern? Because once you gave a Surf, it's like opening Pandora's box, right? Like we're thinking like,
Yep.
oh, you nerf Spark, so it's forced to use Water Gun. And then we're like at Utrecht, and also we saw at Vancouver, dude, Water Gun Lantern is broken too. Like, there's no way to
Yeah.
nerf this thing. And then like you nerf Thunderbolt, you have to nerf Thunder because Thunder's more energy efficient than Thunderbolt already, and then you just spend 5 more energy. Like you gotta like nerf everything in his toolkit besides like Water Gun Surf for it to like not be as strong it is. Like it's just like there's no way shutting Pandora's boxes at this point. We're just done for. It's just Lantern forever.
Yep.
I feel like it'd be the same like if you like took counter away from Metachamp. It would just like still have play with like Psycho Cut or something, you know? Because like
Yeah,
it's
probably,
just
yeah, 'cause
the
Snap
bulk is
Punch
really
is-
good,
yeah.
the coverage is really good, and its position in the meta is really good. I mean, I
Mm.
feel like Lantern is I know some people have said like that's like one of the main reasons that the meta is like more RPS. I think it has to like do a lot with like we talked about this all the time at Vancouver, so I don't want to like repeat ourselves, but Trevenant is insane against every top Pokemon except for Noctowl. So like
Yes.
the fact that there's like only like one answer to Trevenant in the top 5, like literally at all times, except for now, like Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales is making its way in the meta, and like that keeps it in check. I know we saw some Charizard, some Altaria, but
Yeah.
like the fact that Trevenant is just insane, and every single person brings a lineup that's ABA weak to Trevenant. So then there's always going to be a Trevenant in the game, and then if you manage to line up, you're only one answer. You're only bringing one answer to Trevenant, and that's knocked out. And if the game happens and you literally land up, you're knocked out in the Trevenant, you're probably winning that game, and that situation sucks. But if the team compositions were more balanced with more checks to Trevenant, I feel like it definitely could be less RPS. And we've seen that in the last like couple tournaments with Powder Snow and Alolan Ninetales. And then we even see in the last European tournament, a lot of these teams like had different options like Mew, bringing back Sableye, bringing back Lickitung. There's finally other answers for Trevenant. And I feel like that is what's changing the ecosystem of the RPS meta. And I don't know if like it's not necessarily Lantern in Trevenant's and Noctowl's fault. It's just I feel like these teams are just way too weak to some of these picks.
I got a question for you, Butters. We talked about this on our last podcast too. I want to hear your hot take. Yeah, I think you know what I'm gonna ask him, right? So we're looking at, let's just say EU specifically, right? I mean, I think we could talk about like Oceania, Asia, and like Latin America, but EU specifically because there's a lot more like tournaments there that we could see, like they're streamed and stuff. And we see all these like weird spice picks, like Dunsparce. I mean, Dunsparce is like a norm there now, right? Shadow Sableye is like a normal Pokemon for them, even though like before, like you never see it, right? And they were the first to use Charizard, right? We saw more Mew from them, all this stuff. We're seeing like Lickitung, we're seeing more Registeel there than anywhere else, right? Do you think that those teams and those strategies work in NA tournaments? Because we've seen people bring Dunsparce and Charizard, and they don't have the same success as they do in EU. And my theory is they work so well in EU because other people in EU are also bringing spice picks, so that spice picks versus spice picks, you have a lot more chance than like who's the most successful Shadow Charizard or Charizard user in North America? You know, like Charizard's been around since Human Catcher Bug, and like we've seen it make a splash in like every tournament besides NA ones, right? We've had a couple, right? Or
People
like
try, but
yeah, or Dunsparce even, right? Both sides got second in Orlando with Dunsparce, but that was about it, right? I mean, he just kept running like he just ran Trev Dunsparce G-Fist for like every game.
Yeah, that was
I was like, how's no one's catching on to this? But anyway, so that's my question for you. Is it because those spice picks are able to thrive in EU because they're also willing to step outside the meta? And like when you go into NA tournaments, it just like stifles a lot of the meta. Obviously, there's creativity here or there. Like we got like the A9 Shadow Swampert core, and then now Dialab added a Water Gun Lantern onto it. So there's like some variety, but those are still like pretty meta Pokemon. They ain't no Mew, ain't no like like Charizard, right? Or Shadow Sableye.
I think yes, it would work in North America. I feel like you have to look at also the numbers in Europe. Like we saw Liverpool, we saw the last regional. The numbers are higher in Europe too. So yes, they are running a lot of spice, but there's a lot of meta teams too. Like the numbers are just really high. So how, if you're gonna be like playing all these rounds to be able to win the champion and be the champion at one of these tournaments, how do you like separate yourself? If literally everyone, if there's like 150 people running Trev, Medi, Lantern, Noctowl, G-Fisk, Umbreon, how do you separate yourself from like 50 other top trainers that are there? You know what I mean?
True.
Are you just gonna out call every single trainer that's there? Are you just gonna like do that for 12 straight like rounds? Like you can't do that. I feel like it's not feasible. And even comparing it to North America, I don't know how many times that like you are in a top 8 situation and like the player with the random team wins, like Shadow Mawile or like all these like different picks are working in North America too. But I feel like on average, the European trainers are trying more things to separate themselves from the field to try to give themselves that extra chance to win the regional, where I feel like North American players need to pick up their creativity. And I feel like some of them might be coming in thinking, I can win this thing based on skill and this strong team composition. But you're also going to be facing other really talented trainers. And if they're bringing meta picks, you might just have a bad series and you might just get knocked out. I feel like you have to make these little nuanced changes in order to have a better consistency in these tournaments. And like there are some trainers, like obviously Axon, like who's now qualified and who makes top 8 every time and kind of brings the same team, and it's a pretty meta team. He can do it because he's very consistent. But for other trainers, I feel like, how do you separate yourself? Even like Rise, who was the first like repeat champion, like really did bring different picks than the previous like top 5 usage. He brought Azumarill and Shadow, Alolan Ninetales. So I feel like even the top of the top need to do something different to separate themselves. So I feel like it's more of a credit to Europe that they're trying more things to try to separate themselves. And I think it would work in North America, but I feel like you're going to the point of like, if you're trying to separate yourself and then you're just playing a bunch of North American players that are like playing the hard meta, like do you think the North American player or just a top player in general would just like cut off your like spice picks and just like outplay you with the hard meta?
Yeah, that's like, those are really great points. Actually, I got 2 things to say. One is I was talking to my friend Palmer's Up recently, and I was saying, because we're looking at like some of the data, like performance, right? Like how like Shadow Sableye has like a much higher performance than like normal Sableye or like Purified Sableye in a lot of tournaments, especially EU tournaments. And something I brought up was, I also wonder how much of it is also correlated with the Pokemon they use with their skill. Like a regular trainer that's just getting to PvP is not going to build an XL Shadow Sableye out of nowhere, right? Like that's like something like Inadequance or someone that has like a lot of expertise, or Dijon will build because they know those matches. Or like a Dunsparce, right? That's like a really random Pokemon to bring if you're just getting to PvP. You're watching these tournaments, like, oh, I'll bring a Registeel or Galarian Stunfisk, right? Or Lantern, right? But like some of these really spice picks, they're especially the ones that are huge dust investments, right? Like Dunsparce's not cheap, and Shadow Sableye is like definitely not cheap. Like they're, or even Diggersby, right? These are like things that are like just cost a lot. So to have those like to even be aware of that tech or those matchups, like you have to have a certain level of skill to have that high performance thing. Which is an interesting point. And okay, so we're also filming this before Charlotte Regionals, which is coming up this weekend. By the time you hear this, Charlotte's already happened. But we are in the past right now, so we don't even know about this. So I'm curious. I got a spicy team from our friend Arrow that I was doing some scrims with him. He might change it. It's possible, right? But I'm not leaking the team because it's already done. But the team he has in mind, I've been scrimming with him, is, I'm curious what your thoughts are, both of your thoughts on this. Shadow Abomasnow, Shadow Kanto Ninetales, Diggersby, Mudshot Diggersby, Medicham, Noctowl, and Frostlass. Dude, that's a weird team, right? No
It's
Glenn
super
Sunface,
weird.
no Lantern, no
So
Trevenant.
so to Arrow's credit, he's actually been one of the spicier NA trainers that we've seen. He keeps trying to make Dunsparce work, right? I feel like we're watching
Yeah,
Mean Girls.
he gave it up though. Dude, you say
Yeah.
he's one of the spiciest trainers. He also lost to someone using a Spinda. So who's really the
Which is
spiciest
even
trainer?
spicier,
You
right?
I feel
Ooh,
like
so go ahead, Butters.
no, I feel like I mean to go back to like the previous example of like will that work? Like will a spicy team like that work in North America? I feel like the biggest factor that I left out of that argument is the longer like a tournament goes on, or a longer a series goes on. I feel like the hard meta team is just going to have more and more advantages.
Yep.
So, for example, like if you bring a team that just completely gets someone like catches people off guard, I feel like you can cruise through day number one, and you can even cruise through like top 8, and you can even maybe even cruise through and win the finals. But like I feel like sometimes when you get in these best of 5 series, we saw the perfect example of like Jakobovich versus Fish on a Heater, where Fish on a Heater was just shredding everyone, and then suddenly was just playing Jakobovich hard meta team, literally the hardest meta team, and he just started cutting off everything that Fish on the Heater was trying to do strategy wise, and just suddenly you're like, oh wait, Charizard has no bulk and like just like has to shield everything, and
Yep.
if you literally just pivot every time he tries to get a fast attack down, there's just no like way to stop it, because there's just like not even like that team was spicy. There's just no answer to Umbreon. So Likovic just like cut off everything, just kept pivoting in Umbreon, just cut it off. And I feel like that could happen in Europe too. Like if you brought a hard meta team in Europe and then you go progress into the tournament, progress into a best of 5 series, and then start finding out the tendencies or the matchups of these picks you're not aware of, and then over time you can just outclass it with bulk, and meta's meta for a reason. But I feel like these tournaments are like so short, and especially like day number 1, where you're just going to be facing a bunch of random opponents that are not prepared. You could just get through those opponents, and then day number 2, your team might be the team that people are preparing the least, because they're like, oh, this team's crazy. Like I don't even know what to do against that team. I don't need to scrim against this team. I'm going to scrim against like the meta team that I'm like going to face the most. And then suddenly you're in the finals versus like a Shadow Mawile, and then you're just losing. You're like, how did I get to this situation? So I feel like it's a like it's kind of two sides of the coin for like if Spice can work. I feel like Arrow, like that Spice is like awesome, and like seeing that Spice, you might like just like catch a lot of people off guard with a unique strategy. I feel like the more time you give a talented trainer to like register like what you're doing with this team and what your strategy is, the more it comes in favor of the hard meta team. So you really have to like first of all like catch your opponent off guard on day number 1, but then also have something up your sleeve strategy wise and team composition wise to also catch your opponent off guard in day number 2.
Yeah, I told him his whole team's weak to confusion slow, bro. That's what.
Come
Shadow
on.
Bomb Snow with Powder Snow, Shadow Cancel Ninetales, Diggersby, Metacham, Noctowl, and Frostlass. Like a confusion Slobo was steamed through that team, especially with Surf. He's like, that's not a thing. I was like, look, I mean, I get you, but if you see it one day, just say, I warned you. Bastion also rolls through 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Diggersby and Metacham, but that's it. Everything else loses pretty hard to Bastion. So I was like, all right, best of luck, best of luck.
So I feel like Butters makes a really good point, right? Like a lot of the time, Fish on a Heater was able to make his opponent feel really uncomfortable, off balance, right? He kept on finding creative ways to kind of manipulate his opponent, and he used a lot of core breakers, right? Gliscor, Abomasnow. I've been a fan of Abomasnow for months. I mentioned this like way earlier on in the season. I was like, man, Abomasnow versus the Lantern knocked out Trevenant trio is
Salt Lake
so
City.
strong. Salt Lake City, right? I was pumping the Shadow Snowman from then on. But I will say that like Butters says, the longer that the series goes on, if you have a really talented trainer, that meta team can essentially pivot it in a way that prevents your opponent from getting a lead. We saw this really blatantly in I believe it was Toronto when Gordon the Flash was playing against Brown Baller, and Brown Baller just started playing super defensively, right? Like Gordon the Flash kept on fast moving down his opponents, then he'd like triple frenzy plant somebody, or he'd like double blast burn or whatever he was doing. But Brown Baller is the first trainer that really stopped him. And that was one of the things that Butters pointed out in his commentary too. He's like, look, the defensive play that he's executing right now is a super, super high level. So I really wonder, to your point, I wonder if those spicier teams and strats can work in a day 1, day 2 NA tournament or not. Because honestly, I'm not sure at this point.
Yeah, I
We'll
like
see.
Arrow's team, but like, what does he do if someone just plays a bulky team and just pivots Umbreon every time he tries to get an advantage?
True.
He has no answer for Umbreon. You could just pivot Umbreon every time that Arrow tries to get some sort of advantage. You just pivot Umbreon, and then like, what does Arrow do? Like you have no answer for it. Yeah, you could bring in Medicham. Medicham's your best answer for it, but then what if the other opponent's now running like an ABB team, and it's just like you leave yourself with like very little room for error in like a situation where like. And I loved it. Like I encourage him. Like if I saw that team, I would just be like, dude, go for it, man. Like try to win with that. But it is hard to like go full spice. Like you don't even see that in Europe. You see you see
he's
them
like
go
going off
like
the rails here.
Yeah, you see them
he's running
like
Mudshot Diggersby. Like it's not even quick attack. Yeah, trust me, there's no hyper beam. It's fire punch. It's fire punch earthquake.
Dude.
Like his team is pretty weak to Noctowl too.
Yeah. Do you know if it's well? Here's another question too. We saw in Bird Power's matches in I think it was Nashville. She was playing. She was using Quick Attack Diggersby. No. It was Vancouver. Thank you.
Yeah.
And she was losing to Stunfisk with her Quick Attack Diggersby.
Shot. Yeah, you're getting outpaced.
And you get hard walled by Noctowl. You know, like.
Well, the Quick Attack, apparently Quick Attack and Fire Punch, you can actually beat Noctowl. That's the whole
in the ones.
premise of it.
It's actually insane.
In the ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like outside of that though, like you're kind of struggling, right? You're kind of struggling. So I don't know. We'll see. Hey, speaking of Charlotte, any predictions on who's going to take it all? I mean, we know Arrow's team, right? I'm not saying
I'm believing in Spice. I'm going Arrow is winning the entire tournament in Charlotte with double eyes, Kanto Ninetales, and a bunch of other nonsense.
All right, let me name the other names too before we get too heated. All right, so we got Arrow. Of the trainers I know, there's probably plenty that are going that I don't know of. Arrow, Wadaj, I'm pretty sure is going. Auburn, Jangles, CO is a beast. Reezy, I think, might be going.
Yeah.
I'm just sure there's some other people I'm missing, but those are the ones that come to mind. Oh, I think Dijon's going, but I don't know if he's competing. He might be judging.
I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was staff.
He might be staff for that one. I think he's competing in like Fort Wayne or something. But yeah. So, well, what you still got all your money on Arrow here, Butters?
Okay, so I'll say Wadaj is probably the trainer that I see other trainers have like the most admiration or respect for. Like a lot of times I hear people speak like really highly of Wadaj's game, like, or even a trainer saying like I'm using this because I'm not like Wadaj or anything. Like I'm not like crazy, like know every single count or like count so precisely, so I'm trying to like catch people off guard with this. Like I feel like Wadaj, just the way he's like spoken about in like certain circles of trainers, is like probably the highest tiered trainer that hasn't made it as far this season. So we saw Axon qualify after not making it as far this season. Are we going to see Wadaj now like follow in his footsteps and like make an insane run? I feel like there is another side to it, that like we've seen Wadaj in some of these tournaments face some adversity. And so far, like not to call him out, but I feel like some of this adversity has really affected his game. So like if he's able to like not let that adversity like affect his game and like actually bring the game that like makes him the person that everyone speaks so highly of, I feel like he has to be the favorite.
Okay. Dude, I feel like as well, a lot of it's like self-inflicted, right? I don't know if people believe in karma or the universe or whatever it might be, but
we were all there in Toronto.
Dude, a lot of the time after some kind of showmanship occurs, it's like sweep after sweep after sweep getting eliminated like immediately afterwards. And
He's been good
again,
about
like
it lately, though. I think
he has, and you know what? Like I love the competitiveness. I think it's really exciting. You know, when you have like a villain in a sport, right? There's always at least a couple in every sport that you look at. But at the same time, our most recent regional champion from Knoxville, right? Rise. He said, "Dude, just be humble." He even says it on Twitter to other content
yeah.
creators. He said, "Just be humble, man."
Well, you could also be like Dialab, right? Like he wasn't like
True.
really
He
BMing.
was
He was just like celebrating and
He was
stuff.
he was pumping
starving,
himself
Caleb.
up.
Yeah.
He
It
was
was like
starving.
he's being like a showman, right? He was like
Yeah.
doing the touchdown dance, but he got the touchdown though, right? You know, so
True.
yeah, he was a character. I mean, he was like dancing and stuff. Like he was like full on, right? It wasn't just like a facial reaction. Like it was wild.
It
These
was
pop-offs
awesome.
are so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that actually, all right. So you have Wadaj taking it. What about you,
Well,
Speedy?
I don't know. I'm just speaking storylines here. I haven't made my final pick yet.
Oh, okay. Well, let Speedy
Yeah.
decide.
So mine's between two, right? Two players. So I know we troll him a lot, right? But I have so much love for Arrow. I really feel like he's one of those trainers, kind of like, I don't want to group him in this group, right? But I feel like he has got the same ambitions and same skill levels as somebody like Rise or Onion Frank or Wadaj, where they really feel like they come up really close time and time again, but just kind of stumble at the wrong moment. And I feel like, I don't know, Arrow's really trying to step out of his comfort zone and play some really interesting stuff. And I want him to win for that reason, because he has his own individuality, his own personality. So he's one of my picks, but also Auburn. Auburn is just one of the best players in the world consistently. Go Battle League leaderboarder consistently. He created iconic Go Battle League teams people don't even know about, like the Shadow Bamasto Azumarill Sableye team. That was Auburn, right?
That was him. I thought it was Linden.
That's Auburn and Linden. Linden, I try to give him credit for it, and he's like, "Yeah, we kind of developed it like together at the same time."
Well,
so,
they're both on the same team. They're both they're both on
Exactly.
Cool Cats too, actually. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's arguable, right? But my two picks are Arrow and Auburn, the A's.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta go with my boy Auburn, man. I know I've known him since
Ooh.
2017. Dude, I battled him twice in the past 24 hours too. I even knew his team the second time around. I still lost. I was like,
Ooh,
just
I
trolling
was gonna say,
so hard.
tell us the record. What was the record?
I lost both.
Ooh.
Overall, though, GBL, I usually have a leg up, but sometimes I'll do like he won't even like he'll face me, and he won't realize it's me until like halfway through. Like I'm like fighting hard for switch, Trev lead into like a Lickitung, and I got Drake beyond his Medicham. I flipped the switch. He comes in Surfetch. I locked the Trev in, and he comes back in Lickitung. I'm like, here comes the Bastion, baby. I was like, what you expect was in the back offer? Come on, we're playing Open Great League here. But no, he's really good though. I'd be rooting for him. But I think Butters knows. I was telling Speedy about this last podcast, but he was at Milwaukee. I don't know if you remember this last year, Butters. He was at Milwaukee. He was in like the Group G winners finals, but we didn't stream it because like the old system.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
matches.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the winners finals versus Rise, and they went to game 3 and
Right.
he barely lost. And then he ended up losing the losers finals. So you never even saw Auburn on stream.
Right.
But that was the only regional he went to. So this will be his first one this year.
Can you rattle off that list one more time?
All right,
Caleb?
so we got this is just off of who I generally know. I'm sure I'm missing
Okay.
a ton of people. We got Wadaj, Rise. Oh no, sorry, no, not Wadaj. Wadaj, Arrow, Auburn, Jangos, CO is a beast, Reezy. Those are the only ones I know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know
All
if
right.
Reezy's going up. He lives in Charlotte, I think.
All right, I'm gonna go with for my pick. I'm gonna do 2 because Speedy did 2 also. I'm gonna go with my boy Jangles.
Let's go,
I'm
Jingles.
gonna go with my boy Jangles, and
Okay.
then I think the safest pick, just like at last tournament, I wanted to pick Axon. I feel like the safest pick is Wadaj. I feel like I know he's feeling a lot of pressure because when we talked to Axon, he was saying like how he was feeling this pressure that he felt like he was on the tier of battlers of people who like qualified for worlds already, and he hadn't qualified yet, and all his like peers had. I know for a fact that Wadaj feels that internal pressure of like he feels that like Pocket's already qualified and people around my tier level have already qualified. So I feel like maybe Charlotte is the time that he breaks through. So I'm gonna go Jangles in Wadaj.
Who do you have as number 1 and number 2?
You know what? I'm gonna go with my boy Jangles, number 1.
Let's go.
Okay, all right.
Why not? Why not?
I like it. You know, I was gonna bring this up later, but since we're on the topic, you know, I got a great hot topic question. You know, we have a T segment. Keep it stir some controversy. I think this is a good one. All three of us are going to do it, right? So we all going to be uncomfortable together. Or maybe not.
Here we
I
go.
won't feel great. I feel great in these situations. All right, each of us has to name the best player in your opinion from each of the 4 regions: NA, LATAM, EU, and then Asia/Oceania. I'm going to group those into the same one.
Wow.
The best. Okay. Wait. Best overall.
In your opinion, yeah. Like who the best player is from each region. I'll say they don't have to qualify for Worlds. They don't have to win anything. Just your honest opinion.
Okay.
Out of all the possible candidates.
So this is skill, consistency, skill ceiling, right? Shoot.
How they are right now. Yeah. Right at this moment in time, right? You can't be like, oh, back in the day they used to be good. I mean, we can talk about Battle Rash all we want, but that's not
I needed time to prepare for this.
I know this is a tough question. Okay, designate one region at a time.
Yeah. Well, let's all start with NA to start it off.
Best trainer in NA,
in your opinion?
Wow.
At the moment, I'll start. I'll kick it off. I think it's Doombug, and here's why.
Okay.
Yo. You kind of allude to this a little bit when you're talking about with 2OButters, but Doombug's mental fortitude is unmatched, man.
It's true.
Nothing basic. Yo, say what you want about that whole Registeel incident with him and Bird Power, but he did not let that tear him down, right? He just kept powering through, not that tournament, but just in general, right? Yeah, he got a lot of backlash. He had to write an apology and everything. And people still, dude, to this day, I feel kind of bad, but you look at those YouTube VODs and stuff of the regionals, every time there's always some comment be like, they banned that Doombug guy yet? It's like almost
dude.
Half a year later, they're still commenting, right?
Yeah, and every time anyone is trying to call for a rematch, they're just calling out Doombug every single second.
Yep.
And he'll sometimes troll, join in on the troll comments too a little bit. Be like, yeah, was it Registeel or something like that? But I would say, yo, that I don't know what he's feeling inside, but when you watch him battle, it's nothing. No emotion, right? When he's down 0-2 in Arlington against Rise in the losers finals, he's just I just gotta win 3 in a row now against Rise, right? One of the best players in the world. I just gotta do it, right? And he just you can tell his gameplay doesn't falter when when his back against the wall, and that is insane. Because he's already really solid, but the mental strength and fortitude unmatched in my opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he's up 2-0 or down 0-2, whatever it is. He's wildly consistent. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts.
His first 2 regionals from this season of Play Pokemon: Baltimore stacked tournament. He made it. I remember in top 8 he beat with Dodge, and then he made it to the losers finals and faced Elam and was up 2-0 against Elam, and then ended up getting reverse swept, right? But still, got 3rd place in Baltimore, right, behind Elam and House Stark. In his second regionals, he went to Arlington, won it all. And that was when he was 0-2 against Rise, reverse swept him, and then reset the bracket against Bebelicious, and then beat him again in the...
Dude.
Quite the rest.
Reverse sweeping Rise is a Herculean task, right?
Yeah. I'm glad he was trolling and brought a double into San Diego, because I was about to battle him round 3, and then he lost to Munchlax 2000, so I got a freebie.
Oh, gosh.
Munchlax 2000 is a great battler, but I'd rather... I just don't like facing Dune in general.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, I think I got mine, but I'm just gonna say
no apologies to anyone, right?
No, this is biased. This is biased to first of all situation, because I haven't casted every single tournament, so I'm just gonna talk about the trainer who their championship impressed me the most, as I was watching or casting or at the event, and it was Pocket. I think the way that Pocket manipulated switching situations and the way that he was chip and dipping was at a different level than I saw other trainers move the pieces around. I was really impressed with the nuances that Pocket was doing in some of these matchups. So I feel if we're talking about skill ceiling, he has everything you would need, from just the mechanic play. He's top notch, obviously. From team composition, he's top notch. He had a weird moment against Onion Frank where he threw a tournament.
I remember in Baltimore, right?
He threw a tournament where he got thrown off by Onion Frank, which goes against him a little bit. But in terms of skill ceiling, where I think say world championships, like if he's really locked in, and someone that I would like want to like not face and like have to watch out for, because I think he might bring a different wrinkle than I'm expecting, because I feel like everyone is expecting the static situations when you're at that level, and even the most common fluid situations at that level. But he is like getting in the depths of these fluid situations, like bringing out wind cons from the bottom of the ocean that like other people don't have visibility to. So I'm gonna say Pocket for North America.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to tack on just some quick insights about both of these trainers. The way that they think about the game is so different from just about anyone else that I've encountered. For example, Dunebug, he knows all the fast attacks and the energy that they generate, and then all the charge attacks, the energy that they generate. So it doesn't matter if it's the beginning of the game, the middle, or the end. Dunebug can tell you whatever combination. If you have Fury Cutter and an Avalanche, he can tell you how many Fury Cutters they need to get to the charge attack. Right? His brain is literally a computer the whole time. And I saw this when we were his factions teammate as well, Butters. When he was doing counts for us, he knew. He's like, oh, he's at 42 energy. He needs 45 for this move. He's not there. It's insane the way that Dunebug thinks about the game. Secondly, when you look at Hot Pocket, we were talking about like, I think Butters, you and I might have actually asked him like why he was going Ice Beam instead of Play Rough against Lickitung. And he was telling us based on the bubble damage over time, you don't gain anything from going Play Rough, right?
Dude,
I also think like you just gave Dune all that credit for how calculated he is. I feel like if we talked about Pocket, or if he watched this clip about me speaking about him highly, he'll just be like, I was just playing, like I just thought it was a good move. Like I'm not playing 5D Pokemon Go chess. I feel like he does a lot of this stuff like, so I don't know. My thinking is he's doing this like next level stuff like subconsciously. Like I don't even think he's like, I don't think he comes out with like the game thinking like, oh, I executed that game strategy like to a T. I think he actually just plays like insane, and it just ends up like working out. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know about you, Speedy. What do you think?
I was just going to say for Hot Pocket, every single turn is intentional. Every single turn, right? So when he's facing off against Enhoff, right, in the finals, and he throws like 4 wing attacks and then the sky attack, and then 1 more wing attack, that's all on purpose. It's all like calculated. It's not just, oh, I think I'm going to feel through this matchup and do this or whatever. He knows exactly what he wants to do at every single step. So as soon as the game starts, all the way until the end, every single step is calculated. In my opinion, that kind of goes against what you were saying, Butters.
No, I don't know. Either he is calculated and he won't admit it, and he tries to be like humble. You know, he is like he is younger. You know, he's
aware.
Yeah, I also think he's aware. That's why I said it. I feel like it's subconsciously he's like playing out of his mind, because I swear if like you sent this clip to him, like me saying that he plays like a fluid style that's like more in depth and like chip and dip strategies, I feel like his response to be like, no, like I just thought I would throw that move and I thought I'd switch. Like he wouldn't be like, oh yeah, like I had that like all planned, because if I throw the Ice Beam and then I swap, that puts him in range of the Earthquake plus 2 mud shots. Then I have that 2 mud shot advantage for the backline matchup. I swear he just plays sick, and I don't know. You saying that everything is calculated. I maybe next week on the podcast bring in Pocket and ask about his game style, because I'm actually really curious to see what his answers. I first of all think he would be humble, but I'm kind of leaning towards what you're saying too, Speedy, because like from the evidence that he shows in his game, he seems insanely calculated, and that's why I picked him.
Yeah. Well,
wait, who's your pick,
to him? Sorry, I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm super long-winded.
We have an ours.
Yeah. So yeah, no more distractions. So Caleb mentioned Dunebug. Dunebug is definitely, I think, top 2, right? But one trainer that I really, really respect, and I think his playstyle is so profound, and people don't even really appreciate just how good he is Magic Mason. And the reason is because he's the only trainer that I've watched this entire season and last season that as the series gets longer, he gets better. He gets stronger with every single game. It's almost like when Mason goes down 0-1, he's got you right where he wants you. I would be frightened to play Mason in like a best of 5, because for whatever it is, right? We saw a lot of his games just grinding it out against Brown Baller in the grand finals and grand finals reset. But even in the games on day 1 that we watched with Mason, it just seemed like it would look like he was on his heels, right? We say, oh no, Magic Mason's down 0-1. He needs to reverse sweep in order to win this. And guess what? every single freaking time. It's like when he encounters his opponent, he starts slow. As opposed to Dunebug, right? Dunebug always starts at 100 miles an hour. He always knows exactly what he wants to do. He's never flustered. Mason will lose that first game, and maybe that's his fault, right? Maybe being slower to start could be a fault in the future. But he starts slow, but by the time he gets moving, he's like a truck. He just powers through everybody. He's unstoppable in game 3. I've never seen a trainer stronger in game 3 than Magic Mason.
So you're saying it's Magic Mason?
All right,
dude, that's wild.
saying.
That like, yo, we got Rise Occasion in this region. No one even mentioned him. Well, that's wild. Yo,
Dude.
I feel like we're like on TNT Sports Center here. Like we're like debating like the best players. Like, give me your pick on why this person's the MVP of the season.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, one region down though. We still got 3 more to go.
I know that was just one.
Dude, let's go to EU. Right.
All right.
EU.
all right,
What's your
all right.
pick? I got mine already. I got mine.
all right, go for it then, Caleb. Go.
Emmy
Yeah, go.
Weedle. Emmy Weedle. It's not even because he won
Oh.
world champs, right? He came back in Stuttgart, swept it all. Dude, I feel like his team building skills also top notch, right? Like, yeah,
True.
I roast Man Team from time to time, but he made that Man Team work, running that double seal and stuff. He ran like Araquanid at Worlds, right? With double seal. And he like made that look good. But also like he's beating everyone in stacked tournaments too, not even just like seniors division, right? Like masters. And I've played this guy at GBL. Like he's pretty good. And I do recall he faced off against Dancing Rob in a factions bout sometime last cycle, and I think he 3-0'd Dancing Rob.
Yes, I believe you did.
Emmy Weedle.
You guys want to know something funny? You want to know something super ironic? I was going to save this, right, to talk about this later, but I'll just tell you now. When we were at EUIC last year, Dancing Rob went on stage, and he won 2-1 in his match, and the next person on stage after Dancing Rob was me, Weedle.
Wait, what?
I didn't even know he was there.
During the stream.
Wait, but he was competing with the Masters level players?
However it worked out. I was watching back the stream VOD, and I was like, wait, are you serious? I'll try to find the clip, but yes.
Okay, yeah, you gotta find that. That's a deep cut.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize
he was
looked
there.
like back then. Yeah.
Yeah, they were both there.
When did he qualify last year? Like, when did he qualify at EUIC? Me Weedle?
Yeah, maybe he played like a separate tournament, kind of like what Bird Power did, and then like joined in.
And then joined, yeah.
I don't know, because the seniors division were just some smaller pools across the board in every region, I would assume.
Right. All right, Speedy, what do you got? I don't have one yet.
EU.
All right, that's okay.
A lot of people to pick
EU,
from.
Best trainer in EU. This is tough, man. I'm looking through some results here. Just to get some.
If you need to look to the results, you don't got the name ready.
That's true. It's true.
If you need to count how many regional wins they got, then they're not at the top of your mind.
It's okay. So it's really hard for me to. It's really hard for me to decide.
To win a regional, right? They don't have to qualify for Worlds or anything. It could be like an old head name, like the Nut 93, right?
Go ahead, Butters.
No, I was gonna say, so someone that like it's not gonna be my pick. But like Lurgan Rocket, I feel like is one of the like more decorated EU trainers.
Sure.
Just because like
went
winning
far at Worlds. He beat.
Yeah,
Axel.
exactly. That's why I'm mentioning.
Marco.
He was he top 4 in Worlds?
He was
or top 8. He was either top 4 or top 8.
He was definitely past the 8 margin. So it was Dancing Rob, Godon Hada, Crescent Angels. Who was 4th? Maybe it was Lurgan Rocket.
Maybe it was Lurgan Rocket.
Lurgan finished 4th. Marta was 5th, followed by Zardy, Axon, and JB Yang.
Yeah, so I feel like he needs at least a bit of a shout out there from winning like the first ever regional in Europe to getting top 4 in Worlds, and then also qualifying recently too with like Diggersby. Sometimes his stage presence gets a little bit too much against Marto. We saw him DMing Marto in like a game that was like really over. I think he was trying to be fun because Marto is always the person DMing, but it was a little too much for my taste in that situation. But I feel like you have to give him credit for like how far he's gotten in not only Worlds, but like in a lot of these regionals, like the consistency being at a top level is definitely there for Lurgan.
True. Yeah. Well, but speaking of consistency, my runner-up here is actually Statistan. Statistan's my runner-up for best.
I respect that, but who's the real one? We ain't giving no second place here.
I'm gonna talk about showmanship as well, and probably one of the most clutch players. I don't want to say he's the most consistent, but one of the most clutch players in all of EU is 23 EJB.
Yo,
Easily.
Yeah. I like that
Easily
guy.
one of the most clutch, right?
He won through last chance qualifiers.
Yes, exactly. He won that last year, right? Just arrived in London and just freaking swept last chance qualifiers essentially. And then in Bochum, if I recall, he forced the bracket reset and won that too.
Sure did.
Right?
He's pretty solid. I battled him in GBL a couple times. Yo, that's
And he
wild
did
too.
it.
This region's stacked too.
He did it against Lurgan Rocket.
Oh,
okay,
the one up. Dude, Emmy Guido hasn't lost anything in any tournament, so I mean, hey, this is the real champ, right?
Also true.
He's averaging first place in every tournament.
One of my favorite EU trainers is the other guy who won the last chance qualifier, Stone Collection.
Stone is so much fun.
Yeah, Stone Collection. I don't know, was he top 8 or top 16 in the last tournament? I saw him on the list.
I think he was
don't know
in top 16 for Utrecht. I don't know if he made it to top 8.
He entered day 2 as number 1 overall.
Yeah.
But then he kind of slid towards the end.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes. I do remember. Yeah, I think he lost like back to back, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, that Lorenzo guy, I heard he overslept and he took a game loss. He went from winners bracket straight to losers bracket because he overslept or showed up late. But that guy was pretty sick too, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stone finished
12 out of 16
on stage.
12, yeah. Okay. I just like Stone. But Stone, I feel like this season or this last tournament didn't bring anything spicy like he brought in the last chance qualifier with the Samurai. I don't know. I looked at the team and I was a little disappointed.
Compared to standard EU teams, right?
Yeah.
I'll read it off to you. I have notes. You guys know me. I've got extensive notes here. He had Registeel, Shadow Dragonair, Shadow Drapion, Shadow Charizard, Metacham, and Dunsparce.
Yeah, that's
okay, I take
spicy,
it back.
Butters.
That is spicy. I didn't see that team. I swear I saw a different team. I got the wrong graphic. I didn't know he had Shadow Dragonair and Shadow Charizard. I take it back. Stone Collection.
Triple Shadows. Dunsparce.
Shadow.
That's a pretty wild team. Yeah. Dragonair, dude, I thought Shadow Dragonair was good until I faced Butters against that Como thing. And I mean, Como was pretty rare, but like I was like, dang, what the heck? I thought Shadow Dragonair was bulkier than this.
I think it's worse. I think it's worse than Shadow Dragonite. Personally, I think Shadow Dragonite is better.
I don't know.
Maybe not against the meta.
No, against the meta, Shadow Dragonite is better than Shadow Dragonair. You have more play
into Azu though with Dragonair.
Yeah, true. But against like
all the moves from Lantern,
you don't get one shot by a G-Fisk.
True. That's
no. You survive. But
you also do better against Bastiodon with Dragonair.
Dude, have you ever been superpowered by a Shadow Dragonite?
Yeah,
like
no problem. No problem. You don't get to the second one. Don't touch me.
Plus, dude, I played actually a lot of Shadow Dragonite against. I actually think it's better than Dragonair because Dragonair, like, it's less flexible. Like, you have to like specifically use it for a tool of alignment, which I guess you can do, but like I swear it's way less flexible.
Is it also for alignment? You just Dragon Breath through to force shields and win.
I mean.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you what, one of those two dragons can beat Frost Ice in the 2s. Spoiler alert, it's not Dragonite.
Yeah,
but like
I think you beat Frost Ice in the 1s too.
You could, yeah.
Yeah, but only one of those like beats Metacham, Lantern, Trevenant, and Noctowl in the 1s. And that's Shadow Dragonite.
Yeah, but that Medi has energy. You're dumb for.
True. Well, in both cases, right? Double Ice Punch kills both.
I mean, I would say Dragonite has more play than Ampharos. I will give you that. All right, Latin America. Let's hear. I gotta pick that. I think someone's probably gonna say Zardy, so I'm gonna say Zardy, even though he's very consistent. Okay. I'm actually gonna say my only stipulation is I feel like this trainer had a solid team for LAIC, but if he had a bulkier team, he could have done even better. And it's runner up. Gabriel Yova. Dude, that guy, he was the much shot down the charmer guy. Dude, that guy was playing insane. His gameplay was on point, but I think like JW Naldo just outbulked him in the finals. Like he couldn't do nothing. Like he had a like Gabriel Yova had like a Lickitung, a Swampert, and like and then JW Naldo had I think he had the Lickitung, but he had like Noctowl, Lickitung, Toxapex. Like it was just so hard to like play around.
So thick. Yeah.
Very thick.
I think LNDS Harjefi, I think.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
He also has been like really good this season.
He had a really close matchup against Gabriel Yova. Like that was the one. That was the much shot down one. That was that game.
That was really wild.
Yeah. So like he qualified and then like at LAIC, which we've all talked about, was like the level of gameplay from start to finish was like insane. So to already qualify and then get that far in the tournament and especially get to day number 2, like I feel like he has to be up there. And then I feel like also the trainers that were qualified last season, like Zardy and what's the other Brazilian trainer's name that qualified
Patrick
this
Albany.
season? Patrick Albany is also
really good
qualified
too.
too.
Yeah,
So like I feel like the trainers that have been around, like Zardy, Patrick Albany, have like done really well this season too. So like to do well in 2 seasons, like you have to be really good.
True.
But
Yeah.
I'll go with Hard Jeffy in this for this one.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What about you?
So my pick is a little bit obvious here, but honestly, we've never seen an IC champion that looked like he was LeBron playing against a bunch of JV League players. All right. And that was JW Naldo. He never seemed like he was sweating for a single moment in any of his matches at all.
He was in GBL yesterday too, actually.
You fought him in GBL?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. How'd it go?
No, Kayla's waiting for you to say how.
I mean, I know JW Naldo, but I did win on that match.
Yeah, you could tell by the way he was waiting.
I know.
I didn't want to say nothing. I was gonna say even if I said it earlier. I faced Auburn twice yesterday. I lost both times. So I'll say it.
Yeah.
Well, just think about it, right? Like if Caleb lost, he wouldn't have brought it up. I'm
just telling you, I lost to Auburn yesterday. I brought that up too. I lost both times.
He's your teammate though, so we gotta consider all the factors.
There's always the angle here. Yeah.
There's always
JW was a great player. He'd easily be like in my top 3 and maybe number 1 still because.
Well, if you look past the previous ICs, like EUIC from last year, we had Aries versus Frika, and Aries just clean swept in the grand finals, right? And then you look at
more consistent in Worlds.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree with that. Jakobrovic was very, very impressive, right, at OCIC. But again, like he swept finals, but it felt like he was strong. He was definitely the strongest trainer there that day. But there was something about JW Naldo. Again, from a casting perspective, it was almost a challenge to make the match like sound super exciting because like
so one-sided.
Yeah, because like Caleb pointed out, like Gabriel was so dynamic. He was much more aggressive with his gameplay. He had like high-powered, high-octane offense with the Swampert. But JW Naldo just kept taking all those hits. He was like inevitable. He was like Thanos. He just brought the Toxapex out and he just devoured everybody.
Like Shaq,
it was unreal.
Like you can't dunk on him,
Yeah,
right? Like
you can't
block your stuff. You take all the shots you want, right?
Like he's going to the rim and that's it. Like you can't stop him.
Yeah, that rim's about to break too.
Yeah.
All right, I like those picks. All right, Asia/Oceania.
Okay.
I pick for this one too.
I have so we haven't seen Asia as much, so it's hard besides the World Championships. But I feel like I was so impressed with like the gameplay from a lot of the Asian trainers. Like I know we've talked. I know Caleb is picking one of these trainers between Allen. I don't know. That could be Caleb's pick. Crescent Angels, JB Yang, and Godon Hada were all like so good at the World Championships, like really top level. But that's the only time that like we've ever seen them too, right? Like except for maybe some like GBLA or facing in GBL. Like that's the only time we've ever seen them. So I feel like I have to give a shout out to the trainer that I've seen the most of this season. I think Valiant Vish is really good. I think Valiant Vish is really, really good. So
I like it.
Yeah, so for this season, I'm gonna pick Valiant Vish, but I would not be
surprised. He's on Stadium Elite's B squad.
Oh,
dude,
he's gotta get moved up.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Someone better get replaced. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But I feel like in the World Championships, or the more that we've seen of Asia, I feel like I could change my mind easily to one of those trainers that were in the World Championships last season because they were so impressive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. What about you, Speedy?
So yeah, I'll be honest. Butters did take my pick. It's looking back at how Valiant Vish is able to predict his opponents. He just seemed like he was on a different wavelength than a lot of the other trainers that we watch with his prediction skills. I'm honestly shocked that he didn't do better at OCIC. But then again, having won a previous regional and then also last year, like you're talking about earlier, Caleb, the consistency we always have to appreciate. But since he took that, I'm going to pick one of the most exciting trainers in the world.
He got third. That's not good enough for you?
Hey, man. I don't know. I feel like Valiant Vish is is as good as anybody, right?
Okay.
As good as anyone on any given day.
All right. High standards.
But that being said, high standards. Like you said earlier, Butters, we focus a lot on like exciting trainers that we've seen before. We haven't seen Crescent Angels in a while, but I am so hyped to see him play again because Crescent Angels was easily one of the most fun trainers to watch that I've ever seen.
Dude, we finally
So
got
fun.
consensus on this one. I agree with you. Crescent Angel.
So fun.
Dude, he was number 1 on the GBL leaderboard too at the end of the season. Not like number 1, like, 2OButters, once or twice in a lifetime. He was number 1 to end the whole season, right? Like this guy was like just sitting there. And there's like around Master League was around too and all this stuff, right? Like it was just every meta. So I don't think I've ever played. I mean, it's probably because his elo is like 500 points higher than mine, but I haven't really played in the GBL. So I can't say like, I faced him last year too. No big deal. No, yeah, Crescent Angels is a lot of fun to watch. But again, we don't see him. And here's the crazy part about Japan, their qualifiers is they have to enter like a lottery to have a chance to enter the qualifying like tournament. And I could have sworn I read somewhere, maybe the translation was bad, but it was like a best of 1. Like a best of 1
sudden death.
Like what? Even Ampharos could thrive in that environment. Like, come on now. Yeah. So
oh man.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's see how our picks shake up. Hey, let us know down below in the comments what you think about our picks, right? Send us any hate your way too if you think we're wrong. But I like our
I'd be
picks.
interested to see like a poll. It'd be so hard to do a poll because like who would you put on the list and who would you not put on the list? Like the poll
that
would
would
have
be
to be so
controversy in
long.
itself.
Yeah, exactly. But it'd be really cool to like you know what you should do? Like you could poll like all the people who've qualified from each region. And like who do you, well, I don't know if you would. It's gonna get messy no matter what.
No. I think we need to publish.
That Go Stadium came out with recently.
True. Yeah. I think we need to publish a graphic, Caleb. Like I can try to mock you something up that has like the 3 of us and our picks, and then like have people vote on who they think got it right.
Oh,
like who's the most right?
I like that. Like,
and if not, comment below.
Yeah, No, yeah, they just gotta vote either way. You can still comment below your own thoughts, but like you gotta, I like that idea. Like you pick
with the best lineup. Like
yeah,
what if they were faction teams and they battled each other as faction teams? Which faction team would win between all the teams?
Well, it's going to depend. For my team, it just depends on if Registeel's banned or not, right? Because that's
true.
You know who actually also brought the wrong Registeel? Crescent Angels, man. Yo, that's a
double
right on my team.
It's true.
Yeah, true.
Happens to the best of us.
Auto wreck, man. Actually,
you got 2 on your team, Caleb, that did that. Both trainers the only trainers that do it are both on your top squad. So I'm gonna bring the wrong Registeel so I could be on that list too.
Okay, I was gonna say this because neither of you have competed, but when you're at a regional or international, when you sign up on your phone, like all the teams or your preset teams aren't there, so it's gonna be auto rec stuff, right? What I do, and for anyone listening, this is a word of advice too: create a team ahead of time, like a battle party. So like when you log in your phone, so that it doesn't go auto rec every time, and so it just go to at least your previous 3 Pokemon. So if you're going to use the same Registeel, at least it's the same Registeel that's there. Avoid any potential Dune Registeel situation or Crescent Angels Registeel situation.
True.
Word of advice. Speaking of which, though, I mean, I was gonna ask Butters, but I gotta ask Speedy too. When are you two competing? When's the competition happening? Like, come on now. Like, what's dude? Everyone's like, oh, it's like y'all scared or what?
I'm eyeballing. I'm looking at competing on the West Coast, and that's all I'll say.
This year. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Before August.
Mm-hmm. I need to get back into shape.
All right. What about you, Butters? I mean, we got some info from Speedy here. We got what you think? Maybe you all should go to the same one.
I will say that I've been more inspired recently to play than I have in the past. So you never know. It might happen. No promises, but I feel a spark a little bit. So we'll see. Yeah. I feel inspired from the way some of these top metas have shaked out. And I know people talk so much about how the top meta right now can be like so RPS, but the way the top 4 meta has like shaked out in the last 3 tournaments have actually been really interesting, I think.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Butter's gonna make Boom Burst work. We heard it here first.
Boom Burst Flygon coming at you.
Oh gosh, dude. Okay, so these are some things that we want to address because this was stuff that was mentioned. This was actually mentioned on our guest episode with PV Poke, Kakuna Matata, Matthew, Napoleon Dynamite, man of many names. Anyway, he said there were a lot of debate over like mechanics and stuff, especially when they're like, you remember when fast food denial was like a thing, right? It was like a glitch, but it happened from time to time. And he said, yeah, okay, oh yeah, of course you say that. This is the question, right? So he was saying that there's some people that like, I was like, what do you think about the current mechanics, right? Where you get fast food through every time on charge mode. He's like, yeah, I like it. I think it's like, you optimize your timing, it's better and stuff like that, and it's more fair for the gameplay. But he was saying that there's some people out there in the world that are proposing that fast food denial happens 100% time. We're like, wait, who's that? He's like, oh, it's 2OButters. I was like, what? I don't know, Butters. You still stand by that?
Yes, I mean it's biased. It's biased to my play style, but I feel like it gives more optionality in terms of like bringing spice picks in different like stat product Pokemon. The way that it's built now, the way that the system is now, is way more in favor of high stat product Pokemon, and then it has the possibility of getting stale, like some people say it is now, because you can only bring these high stat product Pokemon with all this coverage that's really strong, because you're getting all of these free fast attacks in, where if it was all denial, then I think other Pokemon with other stat products would have more play, and I think that would make the meta more interesting. So I'm 100% in favor of always having denials instead of always having sneaks.
Dude, let me just say, longer turn fast moves already are struggling. When's the last time we saw Incinerate user a 4-turn move, right? Like, he wants to deny all these extra
so what does it help with? What is it? Or what does it hurt? It doesn't hurt those users. They already can't play anyway.
It hurts them even more.
Yeah, I know, but they're already out. So I mean, I think it would make the game, like, the more the game is oriented for charge attack pressure, and like having a system that's oriented to charge attacks over fast attacks is healthier for the game. And just a simple decision of deciding to either have sneaks or no sneaks, and deciding if it helps fast attack users or charge attack users, having always a move go through helps fast attack pressure more than charge attack. So I feel like it'd be healthier for a game to value charge attacks over fast attacks.
It seems like Speedy disagrees here.
No,
I thought we were calling out Butters. We're just calling him in, man. He's like,
he's
doubling down, man. He's tripling
take
down.
I believe it. Yeah.
He still believes in it fervently.
Yeah. I mean, why do you guys think it's better to sneak or to have a fast attack?
Well, it's not a sneak. It's just to make sure it's balanced, right? It should be. I think like if you're optimizing your charge move timing, though, it's not a huge benefit for the move to go through. Like, you're timing it perfectly, right? You should be able to get something out of their charge move. Otherwise, spammy Pokemon just going to be like, dude, imagine Alone Ninetales denying on every single weather ball.
Right?
Wait, hold on. There's actually a point I forgot to bring up that's super important. It would bring trainers would have to choose between throwing on alignment and throwing off alignment, and it would matter more. Because if you threw on alignment every time, that would be the ideal way to play if there were no attacks coming through, because you would want to deny every single time. And then you'd become very predictable in terms of your charge attack timing. Because if you're always throwing on alignment, people could swap on everything. But you would have to choose to throw on alignment or off alignment. So you would have to decide to take more damage or decide to throw on alignment. And that would make more interesting decisions compared to right now, where you're always trying to clip and you never throw an alignment. So pretty much every time you're trying to clip, I know we still see sometimes it doesn't happen in tournaments, but
but the thing, yeah, that's true. But the thing is, now, because a lot of people don't try to throw alignment against good players, they know you're not going to throw the charge from alignment, so they're catching when you're throwing at optimized timings, right? Like, a lot of good players are trying to catch, like, the one charge move, fast move after, right? Especially on the like 147 cycle or 135 cycle.
Yeah, but the thing is, because you can still sometimes like swap on something, even though like it's being clipped. I don't know, like it still happens today where like you're throwing quote unquote on like off cycles where you're clipping something, but then like people still catch on it, which is kind of interesting.
All right. Well, I think Speedy disagrees.
I just want to say, like, the game timer is 4.5 minutes, right? We have 60-second switch timers. This is a whole nother thing, right? But Butters can go on and on about. If you have a 60-second switch timer and then you're always going to like maximize all your moves and then be able to throw whenever you really want to against the slower turn usage Pokemon, then there are going to be so many charge moves. You're going to be spending the majority of your gameplay just doing charge move mini games. And then
Wait,
the clock.
so you're saying that the clock would then be shorter, which would make it healthier too? You're like building on my point.
It's not healthier. It's not healthier because more games would go to timeout. It would just be like a marathon of like doing the electric bubbles, doing the water bubbles constantly.
So you prefer tapping?
I prefer
to put it back on you, Speedy.
Dude, the thing is, like, here's the thing you haven't considered, Butters. If you want to play any Pokemon with bulk that has, like any kind of measurable bulk, right? You're just gonna get punished over and over and over and over again because you're gonna lose CMP every single freaking time, and your opponent is just gonna always throw an alignment. So I guess everybody's gonna play fast and hard and just throw a billion charge moves.
No, but I think there would be options because now you literally only play bulk. And so you're saying in that other scenario, there would be options for less bulky Pokemon to thrive. So that would be healthier.
Charizard and Shadow Swampert are not very bulky.
Yeah, true. Well, Shadow Swampert, yeah.
Well, okay, this goes into the second question, but you already kind of alluded to it. Dude, I remember like this was about like maybe 2 years ago or so. Yo, but it was when we had the April Fool's Day thing on GPL where all the switch timers were 30 seconds instead of 1 minute. Yo, I remember after that, it was like Butters had a taste of a drug and he wanted it back. He was every day, every week, he was like, yo, here's perks of why we should get the switch time 30-second switch timer permanently, right? When you used to like briefly host the podcast with Jared Honda on the Go Stadium podcast, every week you're like, yo, 30-second switch timer because of this. I listen to every one of those episodes and every week he's always talking about I was like, am I listening to the same episode as last week or is it a different one? It was always a different one. But he's just mentioned that 30-second timer.
We talked about being a bus driver or a train conductor. Butters is all aboard. He's like, shadows everything, 30-second switch timers, let's go.
Yeah.
I thought about it a lot. I had a pinned tweet for forever where I think I ended up that I think the best scenario would be like a 45-second switch timer, but you would also change the seconds of the mini game, like to make the mini game like 8 seconds. And I think that would have made it like way more healthy because you would be locked in less in negative matchups. But like if you threw like right now, if you throw 6 charge moves, that's 60 seconds. And so if you change it to like 8 seconds for each charge move and you throw like 6 of them, for a 45-second window timer, it ends up being like the same exact thing. But now you're like have more like actions that you can make in a game and less dependent on switch and you have more maneuverability. So I still think 30 seconds is way too fast, especially how long the charge attack animation is. Like there's no way you could have a 30-second timer right now with 10 seconds charge attack animation because you could just throw 3 charge attacks and it's back up. It would be insane. So I feel like you would have to change the animation time of like the mini game and you would have to drop it to something more reasonable by like 45 seconds. I think it would actually end up like the game would be a lot like it is now, but just like slightly more dynamic. I'm doubling down on all these things.
You're tripling down.
So
I mean, I remember when you said reduce the minigame timer. I did like that idea because it just reduced the time you're just like sitting in dead space, right, and doing stuff. You could like it might shorten the battles, but like that's fine because the minigame is shorter and the switch time is shorter. It all evens out, right?
I feel like I'm gonna take the third option, right? I'm gonna take option C here. I think we need to start introducing moves that manipulate the switch timer. For example, if we introduce U-turn, maybe you throw U-turn on a Pokemon and it forces you to switch out into something else, but then that timer's only on like 20 or 30 seconds, right? Instead of the full 60 seconds.
Wild.
So I feel like there's so many different variables that we talked about earlier, the held items. What if you had Pokemon like, let's say you're fighting Galvantula and it's going to throw either lunge or U-turn and you know shield because you know it's U-turn and it's going to switch you out and then you have to like play out of that position, right? Or like what if you think it's lunge but you shield and then it's a U-turn and it does no damage and it switches you out? Like just imagine how it'd be a huge bamboozle, right? I feel like there are ways to do it without totally, corrupting the current state of the game, right?
Dude, I was just thinking about it. Imagine if we were commentating as casters and the switch time was actually 30 seconds. We would be talking nonstop. Be like, oh, here comes the weather. Oh, they're swapping out after the cycle boost, right? Here comes back in the Jellicent, right? Like, it's going to be, that would be, which I wouldn't mind so much because, like, I feel like there's some matchup, it's like, I feel like we have nothing to say. Oh, here comes Knockdown to Lantern. They're locked in. Oh, this Trevenant's locked into Knockdown. They're going to come out with 100 energy. Like, there's no way they're not, right? So, I mean, that might just be the current state of this meta, but there's definitely times where you're stuck in a matchup for like a while and the outcome's not going to change no matter how they play it, right?
Sure. Yeah, and that's what's tough because like the more the game is dependent on like individual one-on-one matchup alignments, like the less healthy the game is. Like I feel like in like the main series game, like for example, like it does matter a lot what you lead into, but also it matters a lot like what's in your backline, your team synergy, your individual strategy, and like the more that everything is balanced towards team synergy and like team composition strategy and less just one-on-one matchups, the healthier the game will get. So whatever can like move in that directions. I'm not saying these are like the only solutions that can be made, but I feel like in the current state of the game, this would help. But I'm all in for like additions that change the nature of the game to make it more team strategy, team synergy. Because right now, like we have synergy, but it's just like between typings on your own team and like the way you want to build your team, like the video you made, Caleb, of like how you want to like ABB, ABA, like that is a strategy in itself. But you can like pick and plug anything in that role as long as it has the same role. Like you can play Bastodon in that second beat. You can play Galarian Stunfisk in that same beat. It doesn't have to be that Pokemon because it's not dependent on like team synergy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but as you talked about this before, like when you see a team of 6, the Pokemon are good because they can complement each other in terms of like typings and coverage, but they don't feel like a team, right? It doesn't feel like one Pokemon is setting the other one up. As you see like in VG, right? When Murkrow uses Tailwind, right? Or when you change the terrain with some other Pokemon, it helps to set up, your closer, for example. I feel like there's so many opportunities to do that in Go, and I feel like that's a huge untapped potential as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when you see Arrow bring Shadow Bombstone and Frostlass, they seem redundant instead of like additive, Like they could be additive if they had a certain strategy that like benefited ice types. But then you see him bring 2 in the same role. You're like, this is redundant. Like, why are you bringing 2 ice types? Like, where's your answer to Umbreon?
I feel like we also always say like, oh, I'm kind of glad Pokemon Go doesn't have that much RNG like VGC. But I feel like the RNG also makes the games more exciting, especially from a viewer and caster standpoint. Because like, oh, there's no chance in this unless you critical hit, right? Unless there's because sometimes once in a while it's like, oh, here comes a boost, right? Like it's it's like it's completely changed the outcome, right? Which may be more frustrating from a player standpoint because you might not consistently win as much because of all the RNG. But from a viewer standpoint, like, we love a good comeback or a close game, right? Like,
but then again, okay, the flip side of that though is like you can construct the perfect strategy. You can be the better player. You can do everything right and execute so many things really well, and then to lose to RNG, like, dude.
Hey, if Wolfie can do it, a Pokemon Go player can do it too, right?
Well, Aaron literally just had it happen to him, right? He missed his Will-O-Wisp. That was 85% chance to hit.
Sometimes it just doesn't happen. Hey, man, Game 4 against Berto, I didn't get 2 Zap Cannon debuffs.
That's true.
I lost a Registeel versus Umbreon matchup. How does that even happen? He shielded 2 Zap Cannons too. He didn't even shield Focus Blast. I legit was scratching my head. I was like, wait, did I remember this matchup wrong? Like, did I bring the wrong Registeel? Like, what's going on? I was so confused. I was like, dude, how am I losing this? Hey,
you should have brought the wrong Registeel. That's like your ticket to top trader list.
Yeah, I'll throw myself in there.
Yeah.
Oh man, all right. Last hot tea topic question here, right? So we want your honest opinion. Out of all the Go casters, you gotta rank them from your favorite to the least favorite. Let's hear it.
We're not doing
the least
this,
favorite, not least favorite. No shot.
We're not doing this.
No, Butters. Our least favorite is Caleb Peng. We can agree.
Look, I gotta be the best of something. It could be the bottom of the list. I'm top of the hater list,
And that's the end of the list.
No, I just wrote that as a joke, just because I thought it'd be funny. But
Oh
anyway,
God,
we talked about a bunch. I mean, you've been here for 2 hours, and the time flew by. We spent the
flew.
first like 47 minutes, and we're like at My Hero Academia at that point.
Yeah,
So
we were talking
I
about
was
like
like,
butters infused with things. Yeah.
dude, I gotta send you those videos. If you want the videos too, Speedy, I'll send it to you as well. I'll just post it in
All
the
right,
group chat.
I'm
Yo,
down,
those infused butters.
dude.
He's like, yeah. He's like, welcome to episode 12 of All Things Butter, right? But he's
Oh
got
my
accent.
God.
He's got like an English accent. Yeah. Yeah. Today we're using rosemary butter with like a hint of cilantro or something like that. I don't know. Some wild
I
stuff.
should just play one of those videos as I'm like starting my stream, like starting soon. It should be like, welcome to episode 12 of All Things Butters. It's just this guy making butter for 10 minutes until I get there.
Dude, we gotta do a cooking show one day. Maybe we'll do a cooking stream.
I'm down. I'll do the judging. I've been working on my food judging.
Do you cook, Speedy? No? Wait, is he? Can you hear him?
I think we're losing Speedy a bit. From the amount of times he says he goes to Taco Bell, I feel like he doesn't cook that much.
Not really, but I make a few
okay,
things
gotcha,
well.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry, it got delayed, but it caught up. Okay, well, he says he makes a few things well, so we'll see. Maybe some.
Yeah, sorry, my internet had a couple of hiccups. No, I make a few things really well.
Okay. Marshmallows on sweet potatoes. Have you ever had this, Butters? Marshmallow on sweet potatoes?
Yeah, like there's a dish that's like kind of a dessert, and like it's like sweet potatoes, and it's covered with like a bunch of marshmallows, and you like oven bake it. And so like I don't know. Yeah, I think I've had it. I've never had like a sweet potato specifically with like a marshmallow on it, but I've had that other dish. I don't know what it's called though.
I'm gonna bring my chimichurri steak for Butters, right? So you already got the deets on the
Yeah,
recipe.
it actually looked good.
You can bring whatever you want to bring. Yeah.
You honestly looked like you cut it well, or you cooked it well. It was a perfect medium rare.
Medium rare. Dude, my stepmom, man, I need to get her to up her taste. We went to a restaurant and she ordered a Wagyu burger and she wanted it well done. I like almost like cringed in my seat to death because I was just like, how could you say it? Like even the waiter like did like a double take, like, okay. And she like had to like, it's still juicy. I was like, yeah, because you got a Wagyu burger. Of course it's gonna be juicy, but like that, you don't do that. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Culture yourself. Anyway, that's fine. I told her. Yeah, well done, dude. Anyway, what a great time. I can't wait to hear what the audience think of our like top 4, trainers from each region. We should do a poll and whatever. Let's see how it goes, right? It'll be interesting. We might piss some people off, but it'd be like that.
Yeah, definitely do some type of graphic or poll. I'm actually curious what other people think too, like because we got asked on the spot, so I know this won't be a disclaimer in the actual list, but we got asked on the spot. So if you have time to think about it, I'm curious what people say.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Well, anyway, where can people find you, Butters?
Well, the best place to find me is twitch.tv/Pokemon Go. Sometimes tournaments. That's probably the best place to find me. Make sure to follow that channel because I'll definitely be there on occasion. But otherwise, it's /2OButters for like everything. So like Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, everything's is /2OButters. So that's where you can find me.
Nice. If you ever make an alt account, I think we go with what Speedy said, and you do 2O cholesterol.
That'll be my cooking channel.
2O margarine is also good too.
Yeah. That is good.
All right. Well, anyway, what a wonderful episode. Episode 92. We finally got Butters on. We should do it again sometime. I mean, you're welcome to join us for like a regular episode if you want. We just honestly like talk about like recent regionals and what happens and like updates and how they are relevant or not for PP and half the time they're not. But it is what it is. We're like,
yeah, let me know. This was fun.
Complete trash. Yeah. But we'll see. All right. Anyway, hope you all have a good one, and hopefully our predictions for Charlotte are accurate. I mean, by then, like I said, it's already been. Yo, wait, hold on. We're in the future, right? It's next Wednesday. People already know. We gonna be in Fort Wayne, all 3 of us, right?
True.
Butters
You could
like
say
nodding
it.
like
You could say it now. I was like, wait, you can't
Butters
say it
like
yet. But
looking real hesitant.
yeah,
No, but
yeah,
don't worry. This won't be released for over
yeah.
a week.
Okay. Yeah.
So by the time that announcement's out, Fort Wayne are gonna be a great time. So,
See you all there.
Yeah.
Check it out in 3 days.
Yeah.
Or 2 days. 2 days. No, 3
days.
days. 3 days. 3 days.
Yeah, depending on when you're checking this out. Man,
Yeah.
we're far in the future.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been a good one, and we'll catch you all next time. Peace.